Sound check, sound check. This is a sound check for the stream of the Wazoo versus UCSD hockey game live from California. Smith Slye alongside Zach McFarlane on the call. Zach, go ahead and test your mic real quick.
The mic sounds great. It sounds wonderful, and it's good to be here in warm Southern California, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, we are absolutely excited. The broadcast crew here on KUGR, the sole broadcaster for Wazoo hockey. We made the trip down here yesterday. We're excited to play today's game. The Cougs lost to the SDSU Aztecs last night 5-1. Hank Hamlet got another goal. He's got 3 so far this year, so he's on a little bit of a heater. But the Cougs come into this game 13-15. The UCSD Tritons come in 4-11. This is a very, very crucial Pac-8 series for the Cougs as they get ready to head up to Cheney for the Pac-8 playoffs here in a few weeks. That's the Super Bowl weekend as well. So if you're watching the Super Bowl and also want to catch a little hockey as well, make sure to tune into that game as well. But again, I'm Smith Slye alongside Zach McFarlane. Puck drop for tonight's game will be at about 9:45. Of course, you can see probably on your screen a little bit that you've got some recreational skating going on at the ice rink. Zam the ice, and then we'll get ready for puck drop closer to about 9:45. We'll go on for our pregame in just a little bit. Again, Smith Slye joined by Zach McFarlane. You're listening to Cougar Hockey only on KUGR. We'll be right back in just a moment. We're going to do another quick sound check here, folks, just to make sure our audio is sounding good. The picture on the live stream is probably a little bit laggy. The Wi-Fi signal is not necessarily the strongest here in California, but ideally the audio will be as clear as it possibly can. That's kind of been the situation for us. The audio's been really clear. Sometimes the video is a little bit laggy as well. But Zach, go ahead and test your mic real quick.
Yeah, we go through a lot of struggles here just trying to get everything working for you folks at home, and we go through a lot of pain and struggles here trying to get it to all work out, and sometimes it's against what we want.
Absolutely. We just got confirmation that the stream is healthy, the audio is sounding good, and like we mentioned before, the puck drop is going to be at about 9:45 p.m. here. It's a late game for the Cougs. I think this is probably the latest game that we've called so far this year. On average, they usually start at about 7 p.m., but for some reason in California, they decided to go a little bit late, go at 9:45, basically a 10 p.m. start for the Cougs. It's going to be a long night for the Cougs in this game, so we'll see how this game pans out. Again, Pac-8 play, Washington State versus UCSD. We'll be back on the call at closer to 9:45, closer to the puck drop. Smith Slye joined by Zach McFarlane in the broadcast booth. We'll be back in just a moment. Please stay with us on KUGR.
This is a KUGR sports production.
Good pass down low to Airstrip, and he scores off the glass.
Giving you play-by-play coverage of all your favorite WSU athletics.
He doesn't get it! He's stuffed at the line!
Football, basketball, baseball, hockey, and more.
Absolutely electrifying play from Washington State to get him right back in this game.
Follow us on YouTube at KUGR Sports to listen to every game live.
Oh my goodness, are you kidding me?
Never miss a moment with the best in the West. KUGR, the student voice of the Palouse.
Gets the Cougs on the board with less than 20 seconds remaining in this first period. Here come the Cougs.
And now, back to the game.
You're listening to Cougar Hockey on KUGR.
900 miles. That is how far away the Washington State Cougars are from their home ice on the Palouse. They make the drive down south to California, sunny San Diego, to take on the UCSD Tritons in their last regular season showing of the 2025-2026 season before they head north to Cheney for the Pac-8 playoffs. The Cougs come into this game 13-15 overall, 5-10 in conference, and then you look across the ice and it is not the same picture. 4-13 overall for the Tritons, 1-10 in conference. It has been tough sledding for the boys in yellow and blue, but the Cougs have a great chance here to build up some momentum as they head into the Pac-8 playoffs. I am Smith Slye, joined by Zach McFarlane in the broadcast booth in California for tonight's matchup. Zach, as we get ready for puck drop here on the ice, well, how can this be a momentum builder for the Cougs heading into that playoffs?
Well, let's first start with what they did last night. They went and played San Diego State, a Division I hockey school, and they held with them 1-1 after the first, 3-1 after the second, before falling 5-1 eventually after the third period. But 3 of those goals from San Diego State coming on the power play. The Cougars have been fairly good on the penalty kill, but of course when you play a team of that caliber, you're going to give them chances and they're going to capitalize, absolutely. So when you really look at the grand scheme of things, 2-1, they outscored you in even strength. That is a phenomenal performance, and back-to-back, really, when you're talking about the Cougars, they played well against Western, maybe their most well-rounded game of the season, so they are peaking at the right time now, playing essentially the worst team in the pack and a struggling offense, struggling in every facet of the season. So with the Cougars, they can maybe, if they play to their caliber, sweep the Tritons here and go 15-15, which would be an even season at 500, and they haven't done that in quite a few years. That can give them confidence going into the Pac-8 playoffs.
Definitely a different opponent than the Western Washington Vikings, who they played in Cheney before this matchup. The Western Washington Vikings, they are atop the Pac-8 at the moment, and the Cougs were with them for about 2 1/4 periods. They tied them up in the third period. Cole Carlson and Hank Hamlet had goals to be able to make that a 3-3 hockey game. And then, of course, the man, Andrew Fan, got on the board immediately off the faceoff following Hank Hamlet's goal to get the lead. And from there, it was all Vikings all day. There were a couple ejections late in that game as well. Basically, the Cougs just kind of imploded a little bit in that conference matchup, and that was a brutal loss for the Cougs. When we were talking with them in the outside the locker room after that game, the sentiments from Lex Ballard, from Hank Hamlet, were that this series right here against the UCSD Tritons, they are both must-win games. 2 games on this weekend. The Cougs have to win both of them. That was the sentiment from Hank Hamlet, from Lex Ballard, who had said in his postgame interview that they hate Western. They do not like the players on Western's team. So if the Cougs have to face them in the playoffs, that definitely there will be a little bit of animosity between those two teams. But this is the first time that these two teams, the Tritons and the Cougs, are facing off with each other. And again, like we mentioned, it's a great opportunity for the Cougs to kind of build up a little bit of momentum. And it might be a good opportunity for possibly Lexi Cool to build up some confidence as well going into the playoffs. He's been the best goaltender in the conference. And if he can have a good weekend here, that can carry over when you play some tough teams in the playoffs.
No doubt, and he has actually had a rough patch the last 5 games, and actually the start of 2026. He has yet to have a game above 900 in the save percentage column. But before that, 7 out of 9 games before the new year, he was having 900 save percentage games and even somewhere in the 950s in a couple of them. He's been a fantastic goalie for most of the season, and he just hit a really rough patch here to start the year. And again, we've seen some tough competition, of course. But for the Tritons here, there's really not much to lose. Obviously, you go to the playoffs no matter what. You're going to play a number 1 team. That might be Western. That might be UW. The number 1 spot is still kind of up for grabs. However, for the Cougars, you are essentially in your 4 spot. You are pretty much locked in, secured. Whether you win or lose in any of these games, it really doesn't matter. But that's not what you're going for here. You're not going to move up in the ranks right before the playoffs. You're going to boost your confidence, and that's what they need to do here tonight against a team that they should no doubt beat. But one thing I do want to point out, Kane Paxton in his home state is here on the bench. Probably statistically the greatest goaltender in Wazoo hockey history, and he will be having a front row seat on the bench, joined by, of course, head coach Johnny Lubinacci tonight, and that should make things interesting and fire the boys up.
Absolutely. Having Kane Paxton on the bench is definitely huge for the Cougs, a goaltending coach for this team, and he's probably a part of the reason why Alexi Kuhl has been as good as he has been so far this year. An .895 save percentage. That ranks 3rd in the conference. 4.59 goals against. He has saved 733 shots. He saved 733 on 819 shots faced, which is the first in the pack by a large margin. And, of course, he's also played 20 games. He is the definition of a workhorse. He reached 1,000 minutes played, 1,000 minutes plus played so far this year. So, again, in the entire pack 8, he has been just put to the test time and time again. Yes, he's been having a bit of a rough patch in these past couple games, but like we said, a great opportunity to get a pair of wins here against the Tritons and move into the playoffs with a little bit of momentum. And goaltending can be what kills teams in Pack 8 matchups and ACHA matchups as well. And the goaltending situation for the Tritons is not necessarily the best. Matthew Malo, he's got an .857 save percentage, averaging about 7 goals against on average per in games. He's played 11 games so far this year. Then, of course, you got Isaac Ladden, an .855 save percentage, and averaging about 7 goals against on average as well. He's played 6 games this year. So the goaltending situation for the Tritons is not necessarily the strongest.
No kidding. And when you look at the Tritons, 75% of their wins have come from out-of-conference opponents. Pretty much local talent here, whatever they play. But realistically, they have 1 win in the Pack 8 this year and 10 losses. And, of course, that is just screaming, struggling. But when you look at Alexi Kuhl, goaltending, of course, is interesting because when you look at statistics, it's really not always on the goaltender. You have essentially goalies that struggle because defense hangs them out to dry. And we saw that against UW. There's a picture, and it was on one of our calls that we had. I believe it might have even been the very 8th goal, where there's 3 Cougars standing in the crease and 1 dog lone, and somehow he gets the puck out of everyone and puts it home. So when you look at Alexi Kuhl's stats, of course, yes, he has had a rough patch statistically, but you can't put it all on him. The defense has to be there, and I think the defense has definitely been better in the past couple of games, but they're definitely going to have to be pretty perfect and really give him that confidence boost, pushing him in to the playoffs where the Cougars have a chance to make it past round 1 for the first time in years.
And one name on defense who can definitely help out Alexi Kuhl has got to be Lex Ballard, the freshman defenseman out of Edmonds, Washington. He's been on a bit of a heater recently. 4 goals, 8 assists. He got a goal, got a snipe shot from the blue line in that Western game. And then another player who's also on a bit of a heater as well is Hank Hamlet, who got a goal in that Western game. It was the lone goal scorer last night against SDSU. So a pair of freshmen there. And that's kind of been the story for the Cougs this year, is young freshmen really getting it done for the Cougs, kind of helping out that veteran talent that they also have as well.
And depth is not something they're used to. Depth is something that is very new this year with this Cougar team. And like you mentioned, Hank Hamlet, he started off the year very hot, then got extremely cold for really the majority of the season. So it's good to see him back and contributing again, producing offensively. Good for him to get a lone goal against a very talented SDSU team. But when you look at Lex Ballard, he can do it all defensively. Long reach, can sweep the puck away from you, but he can also use the speed, blow right by you. And he's on a 2-game goal streak as far as regulation games go. And I'd love to see him get another one here and just fire the boys up, because you notice how whenever he scores, the bench goes nuts.
Absolutely. Lex Ballard, like you said, he's a very tall guy, very lanky, 6'3", 165 pounds, and he can move. He's arguably the fastest skater on this team. He's a spark plug as well. He gets the boys buzzing every time he scores. He is definitely the heart of the energy of this team. So like you said, if Lex Ballard can get on the score sheet tonight, I have no doubt the Cougs are going to definitely propel themselves to possibly a series sweep of the Tritons here in beautiful, sunny California. We got about a minute till puck drop. We'll go to the national anthem and roster announcements as well. Again, you're listening to Cougar Hockey only on KUGR, Cougar College Radio. If you're listening to this broadcast, we ask that you subscribe to the YouTube channel to help us reach our goal of 500 subscribers. And I'm Smith Slye, joined by Zach McFarlane. We'll be back for puck drop in just a little bit. First line will take the ice for the Cougs. Cole Carlson, along with Luke Jurgensen, Samuli Sahovinen, and on defense, it's Keegan Lucas and Sam Hembury. The first line for the Cougs are going to look to try and spark things up here as we are just about to puck drop.
Should be an interesting one again. The Cougs need to get on them early because they need that confidence boost and a sweep this weekend.
The puck has been dropped in the first period of action here in beautiful, sunny San Diego. Luke Jurgensen is going to clear this puck into the zone. In the crease tonight, it is Isaac Ladden for the Tritons. Picking up the puck now. Trying to clear it out, but they can't. Lucas Jurgensen will go back to clean up in his own zone. He'll shake off one defender, and here comes Jurgensen. Up ice. Far side, tries to shield the puck, has to fire it in deeper. Chasing it down, Keegan Lucas. He'll attempt to play it in the corner. Coming up with it, number 20. That's Sekiguchi out of La Jolla, California, the freshman. He'll backhand saucer it in. Sam Hembury will backhand it onto the stick of Keegan Lucas. He'll survey his options and play it off the boards now for Cole Carlson with an opportunity too far away from his stick. He can't make a play on it, and he has to backtrack. Trying to fight off two defenders. Gets onto the stick of Max Lazaro, who fires it in deeper. Picking it up now. The Tritons attempt to clear it out. It's off the skates of Max Lazaro. He'll keep it in the zone. Scrumming with it. Van Rayner comes to his aid. Plays it off the boards. Behind the net, David Bushkin out on the ice. The freshman phenom. 15 goals and 5 assists for David Bushkin. As they turn it over right onto the clutches of Adrian Garcia, and here they come. The Tritons cleared into the zone. Going to trace it down, track it down was Tristan Lee out of San Jose. And now the Cougs are going to respond. Here comes Max Lazaro, an odd-man break. What will he do? Tries to put on a move, but he's shouldered off it by Alex Tatoan, and the Cougs are able to recover. Lazaro tries to feed Van Rayner. It gets back onto the stick of Lazaro. He turns it right over to Garcia. Chasing it down, number 10, Tristan Lee. Backhands it in. Chasing it down, Lucas Robinson. 9 assists, no goals for Lucas Robinson, the junior out of Linwood, Washington. Robinson will try and backhand on the stick of Hank Hamlet, who's on a bit of a heater tonight. A shot from the blue line off the pads of Alexi Kuhl, who's able to kick it away. That was Hudson Garrick with the shot from the blue line. As we'll blow this play dead, and we'll see where they put the face-off. 17 minutes and 59 seconds left in the first period, a 0-0 hockey game.
I'll tell you what, if you are hearing us clearer than normal, that is because we are certainly in a box right now, and there's really not a lot of outside noise getting in here, and that honestly could be a little bit troublesome as far as whistles go. We will have to listen very carefully on certain plays, but of course, nonetheless, not really much happening right now. Neither team really get any offensive chances going.
The Tritons win the faceoff and fire a shot on goal. It's contained in the pillows of Alexi Kuhl. He'll slow it down, melt it down, have a faceoff, and we'll do it again in the near faceoff circle off to the right of Alexi Kuhl.
I think the Cougars came in a little bit confident of a start. They were trying to maybe outwork them, kind of get by with speed, but they haven't been able to do very much, not connect in any way. And really, the Tritons look right with them right now, at least in the first few minutes.
Tritons win another face-off, but they fire this puck off a defensive stick and into the netting. So for the third time, we'll have another face-off here in the Cougar zone. Evan King back to the face-off circle, but Emma LaHoulier will sub off the ice, so it's no longer Evan King versus LaHoulier. They'll drop the puck, and the Cougs win this one. Backhands it around onto the stick of Lex Ballard, the freshman defenseman. We were talking about him in the open. Brandon Smith fires across off the boards to Hank Hamlet, but this puck is chipped up and into the netting. Below the play dead. We'll see where they put the face-off, and we'll see if the Cougs can't respond here. They got 17 minutes and 36 seconds left in the first period, and again, still 0-0.
And it'll be Micah Clark and Lex Ballard. We have not really seen them paired together too much, so this should be pretty interesting. Lex Ballard, of course, leading the defense in points. He has been incredible. Head
coach Lupinacci definitely shaking things up here on the defense pairings. Off the draw, the Cougs pick it up. Evan King fires a shot on goal, hit off the body of Layden. And now Hank Hamlet will clean up the rebound, but it's turned right over to the Tritons. They'll play it onto the stick of Colm Grebe, who now feeds it across for number 24, Peter Dukakis. But the Cougs are able to fire back down ice. 17 minutes left to play in the first period. Again, still 0-0. Goose eggs on both sides. Evan King can't play, and he turns over in the neutral zone now for number 27. That's Luca Tartaglia. 3 goals and 5 assists for Tartaglia, the sophomore out of Belmont, California. He's trying to fight off 3 Cougs in the corner. A mad dash for the puck. Coming up with it now. Number 3 for the Tritons. Feeds it out in front, but it's right onto the stick of Cole Carlson. Pardon me, that's Keegan Lucas, number 11. As now it's lost in the skates of Brandon Smith, who is trying to get off for a change. Number 3 gets absolutely rocked by Sam Hembry on defense. And now the Cougs with an opportunity to beat him in transition. Here comes Cole Carlson, moves it through the legs of a Triton. Far side, a shot off the blocker of Layden. He contains the rebound, puts the glove over the top of it, melts it down, and Cole Carlson, Captain Calgary, got denied by that opportunity.
Well, I'll tell you what, when they were in the defensive zone over here, there was absolutely 6 players in the defensive zone for a good 15 seconds. I'm really not sure how the referees didn't see that. The Cougs definitely get away with one there, and now they get an offensive zone draw.
Samuli Sahoven to the face-off circle. The Cougs win it and try and stuff it on net. Doesn't quite work. Sahoven will track it down in the near wing. He's trying to fish this puck out. He's got 2 Tritons there to pin him against the boards. Cole Carlson comes to his aid. Life will resume eventually, and it finally does. It's Dukakis, the Boston native, who drops it off for Adrian Garcia. Plays off the boards, kept in by Sam Hembry. Fires a shot, but it hits off defensive bodies. And now, here come the Tritons with an opportunity. Feder feeds it across for number 10. A shot just past the glove of Alexi Cool, but behind the net. He gets lucky there on that opportunity. A scrum in the far corner. It'll tip off a stick and into the netting. We'll have another face-off here in the Cougar zone. You got 15 minutes and 53 seconds left in the first period, and like we said, a 0-0 hockey game.
Yeah, and that was just a kind of a bouncing puck. You took a golf swing at it, and it's one of those where you kind of hit underneath it, and you get it just enough to move it forward, but the backspin on it just takes it wide right, and Alexi Cool, I think, just kind of overcommitted there. I mean, rightfully so, granted what the shot was.
Well, Houllier loses the draw to Van Rayner, and now here come the Cougs. They have it swatted away from them in the neutral zone. They get denied at the blue line. Lucas Robinson will pick it up and hand it to Lazaro, who's able to shove off a man, and here comes Lazaro. What are his options? He'll fire a pass to Van Rayner behind the net now. Who will he pass it to? Out. Can't see. The ref's in my way, but it's picked up here by the Tritons. Here they come. They turn it right over to Max Lazaro. He has to track it down, though, in his own zone, and let's see if the Cougs can't reset. Turned over to the Tritons in their own half. Van Rayner goes to shove a man into the boards. The Cougs trying to break out, and here they come. It's Max Lazaro. He's got David Bushkin with him. What will they do? Passes it to Bushkin up the gut. What will he do? Fires a shot into the body of Layden. Does he know can he see the rebound? No, he lost it, and Bushkin tried to stuff it home, but the refs lost sight of it. They'll blow it dead with 15 minutes left in the first frame, and again, a 0-0 hockey game.
And Ladden definitely had no idea where that was. I think he trapped it kind of in between his elbow and his rib cage area, but they haven't really shown him on the ice very much this season. We've only seen him maybe 4 times, and just showing an .865 save percentage. But for the first 5 minutes, few shots on goal for both teams, nothing much so far.
Lex Bauer with a shot from the blue line is just barely kicked away by Layden. Cleaning up now Michael Clark in the near boards. Can't quite see this puck, not the great vantage point, but it's turned over right onto the stick of the Tritons, but right back for Brandon Smith, who fires it back in. He's been on a bit of a heater recently. He's got 2 goals and 2 assists so far this year, both of those 2 assists coming in recent games. Lex Ballard tries to clear it out past the blue line, but it's hit off the stick of Colm Grebe. But here come the Cougs. A pass onto the stick of Evan King, the freshman, out of Seattle, Washington. He's at the logo, tries to shake off a man, and he does. Shields the puck, moves in, all alone. Here comes Evan King. Fires it in deeper. Tries to track down his own pass, but he turns it right over onto the stick of Lars Abam, but they can't quite clear it out of the zone. Goes onto the net, onto the blocker of Layden. He puts the glove over the top of it and melts it down with 14 minutes left in the first period, 0-0.
And again, another kind of just empty threat shot there. There's really not much going on as far as grade A chances. Neither team has had really much. There was a bouncing puck chance before for the Tritons, but of course it went wide. It was basically essentially a grenade. Really not much you could do with it. But Brandon Smith, again, just showcasing he has been huge for this Cougar team as far as forechecking, and he continues to do so even with his 1 shift here so far.
So Ovenden won the draw, but the Cougs were forced to have to retreat. They fire back in, but the Tritons are going to try and set something up here. A pass onto the stick of Sikaguchi. Hands it off for Tartaglia. He moves in. Near wing, what are his options? He has on his backhand behind the net of Alexi Cool. He'll leave it in the corner and turns right over to Sam Hembry. Senior alternate captain on defense, tries to move it through the neutral zone, gets denied at the blue line, tries to fire it in, but here they come the Cougs. They saucer it in. That was Samuli Sahoven into the near corner. Tracking it down, it's Hudson Garrick. Tries to play it out, but he can't quite. Chipped off the boards and into the neutral zone, chasing it down, Tartaglia. But Van Rayner was there to just clap it into the neutral zone. Cougs really struggling to break into the Triton zone. As a pass through the skates is turned right over onto the stick of Sam Hembry on defense. Cougs fire across, right back onto the stick of Sam Hembry. 13 minutes left in the first period. At the logo, right onto the stick of Chris Fader. The lowest played ever being offsides. The Tritons just barely past the blue line, just barely outsides, and we'll have a neutral zone faceoff.
And the Cougars just look very sloppy right now. Like they're really not trying to do anything at all with the puck, just almost playing keep away from the Tritons at most. And even then, they're not being very successful at that. The Tritons just look like they're a little bit hungrier, and then they want it more right now. And the Cougars can't really connect anything together that they need.
Van Rayner opposed by Chris Fader. Rayner wins that battle. The Cougs drop back into their own zone, and here they come. Almost turned over, but here they come. Onto the stick of Van Rayner, far side, far wing, on his backhand, out in front. No one was there to field the pass, and it's turned right over to Adrian Garcia. Tries to pass into the neutral zone, onto the stick of Tristan Lee, but it's taken away by Van Rayner. He breaks in. Far side, behind the net. What are his options? Backhands it out in front, but it's right onto the stick of Lars Abam, who clears it past the neutral zone. Cougs have to track this down. It's Lucas Robinson, the defenseman. He'll backhand it on the stick of David Bushkin, the freshman phenom. Gets a beautiful pass now for Max Lazaro. Here he comes, up the gut. Tries to put on move, and it's poke-checked away, denied by Alex Tatoan. David Bushkin tries to play this puck, and is unable to be kept by Lex Ballard. He just has to kind of fire it back into the ice. Cougs go off for a change, and the Tritons go off for a change. A fresh set of 5 on both sides. Quick pass to number 19. They break into the zone, but the Cougs take it right back. Lex Ballard tries to get a bumper pass and a shot onto the goal of Alexi Kuhl. He options to leave it for Lex Ballard behind the net, and here come the Cougs. Ballard attempts to feed a pass, goes off a defensive stick, and it's fired back into the zone, into the netting, out of play. We'll have a face-off. We'll see where they put it. And the Cougs got 11 minutes and 47 seconds left in the 0-0 hockey game.
And again, even through almost halfway through this period, there's really been no grade A chances. This has been almost looked like drill work for both teams, just kind of cycling the puck, working how to break it out, working how to dump the puck in, and just cycle it in the zone. We really haven't seen any kind of connection between either of these two teams.
Number 40 for the Tritons. A shot on goal, kicked away by Alexi Kuhl. He gets another save. Lucas Clark, brother of Micah Clark, attempts to move it through, but he can't. Lex Ballard comes to try and help him out. Ballard's got on his stick. He puts on a move, tries to make a man miss, poke checked away, but he picks it right back up again. Tries to shovel it off the boards and in, but it's turned away by the Tritons. The Cougs getting denied by the Tritons time and time again. Here comes Evan King in the zone on his backhand, tries to shield it. Behind the net, he's getting shoved off it by Peter Dukakis, the senior vice president out of Boston. Evan King throws some snow behind the net, backhands it out. Now for number 22, Nico Umale, another freshman on this team. Backhanded out to the blue line. Sam Henry, a shot through bodies, tipped on net, and it doesn't quite go in. Looked like it might have hit off the iron, and here come the Tritons in transition. Number 25 will skate it in, near wing. Tries to pass it out in front, but he's shoved off into the boards. He's punished, and now Keegan Lucas will clean it up. Fires it onto the stick of Nico Umale in the neutral zone. Tries to shake off number 28. That's Alex Tatoan. As there was a commotion in the neutral zone, they'll blow the play dead. Cole Carlson getting his stick mixed up with number 3 on the Tritons, and we'll see where they put the face-off with 10 minutes and 36 seconds left in frame number 1.
And actually, we're going to get a penalty here. There looks to be a hook, and it is going to be against Tatoyan. He's going to go to the box, and he's not going to go through the gate. He's just going to jump right over and kind of chirp to his teammates there on the bench, but we're going to get a first power play look of the night, and an interesting call. I think that was him tying up with Umale, and he did it illegally.
We had some pretty clean hockey up until that point. And the first power play, the first man advantage of the night, goes to the Cougs. Face off in the Triton zone. Max Lazaro has it on his backhand, gives it for Cole Carlson, team captain out of Calgary, Alberta. Van Rayner left it for Lazaro. Tried to kick it out for Carlson, but he turned it over, and it's fired down ice. Cougs have to go back, reset. Sam Henry on defense, throws some snow behind the net of Alexi Kuhl. Here he comes with the puck. Who will he pass it to? He'll shovel it onto the stick of Cole Carlson. Here comes the captain. Near wing, puts on a move through the legs of a Triton. He'll backhand out in front, tries to stuff it home. It doesn't quite work as it's cleared past the blue line and down ice. Carlson attempting to connect with Rayner, and they just don't quite get it done.
Layden, that was a great toe save. He just got enough over to reach that far post and stop the puck there.
Van Rayner with the puck, along with Samui Zahovinen. They have it lost in their feet. They try and trickle it on. That doesn't work. Zahovinen now for Carlson in the near wing. He skates out to the blue line, hands it off for Zahovinen. Back across for Carlson, out in front, puts it on a move, tries to put on a shot. Just paddled away by Layden. The rebound cleaned up by the Tritons. They'll fire it down ice. They survive again. The Cougs playing some sloppy hockey on the power play.
Samuli Sahovanen standing at the blue line right now looking for kind of a stretch pass, but they didn't get into him in time. He was trying to catch the Tritons on a change lookout.
Here comes Van Rayner with an opportunity. Has it poke checked away. The Tritons have been playing some lockdown defense so far. Ballard across for Robinson. tries to put a shot on goal, looking for the tip, doesn't quite work. So Hovinen tries to play this puck. His stick was held up, and it's cleared down ice. The Tritons absolutely locking down the Cougs, even though they're down a man.
I think the Cougs' game plan, as soon as they get into the zone, they just need to take shots on net. Layden is really not seeing the puck that well. He has shown that so far.
Ballard breaks in with a head of steam. Throws some snow at the goal line. Far wing, what'll he do? Passes it through the stick to Sam Henry. Now for Carlson in the near wing. Attempts to center it, but it hits off a defensive stick. Again, those defensive sticks from the Tritons have been just shutting off lanes all night. Henry, a shot, off bodies, and denied. Never made it to the net. Jurgensen, a bouncing puck, a bit of a knuckle puck, gets onto the stick of Lex Ballard. Fires a shot from the near wing, hits off the body of Van Rayner out in front, cleaned up by the Tritons. Can they clear it out of the zone? No, it's pushed in deeper by Luke Jurgensen. 8.5 minutes left in frame number 1, a 0-0 hockey game. This puck chipped off the boards and down ice. The Tritons get a change. The Cougs get a change.
And not a completely ineffective power play, but one you definitely wanted to score on there. You created a lot of chances, but of course you also had a lot of mistakes. Just too much passing, and that has been the story of the Cougars power play and why it's been overall pretty abysmal this season.
Carlson tries to move it past the blue line, but it's turned right over to number 25, Eric Collender, for the Tritons. Going back to chase down this puck, freshman defenseman Keegan Lucas attempts to just backhand slap it out, and here come the Cougs. Can they catch him in transition? It's number 15. It's Lucas Clark, one of the Clark brothers. Feeds it onto the stick of Luke Jurgensen. He'll stop and start on the near corner. Has to pass it out for Keegan Lucas. He got absolutely sandwiched. A shot that hit off a defensive stick and into the corner. Chasing it down, Lars a bomb. He'll clear it through, down ice, and the Cougs, it's onto the stick of Alexi Cool. Here comes Keegan Lucas. Chips it off the boards and down ice. Will this be icing? No, doesn't quite go far enough, and Alex Tatoan will, fresh out of the penalty box, will hand it across. For number 7, Hudson Garrick. Now onto the stick of number 40, who loses his handle. Turns it over to the Cougs. Here they come. Evan King, the freshman, out of Seattle, puts on a move, picks up the loose puck. What are his options? Far wing, kicks it out to the blue line. A shot from Ethan Maurer, hits off a defensive stick. Alex Tatoan, he'll take it now and try and calm things down for the Tritons. Plays it off the boards onto the stick of Zach Fleming. Hands it off now for Tatoan. Pushes into the zone, trying to get past Ethan Maurer. And they turn it right over to Evan King. Far corner, scrumming for it. Number 40 passes it out in front, but it's picked off by Lucas Robinson. Onto the stick, a shot off the body of Alexi Cool. They're rebound, they can't stuff it home, and Hank Hamlet is going to chip it off the boards and down ice. The Cougs survive that opportunity from the Tritons.
Alexi Cool looking strong. He hasn't had too much to really test him so far, but on the few chances that he's had, he's looked very strong. He knows where the puck is, he's moving well, and he's staying in position.
The Cougs hail a cab and get a fresh set of 5 out on the ice. Played off the stick of Hank Hamlet into the zone. 24 will go chase it down. That's Peter Dukakis. Can't quite see what's happening here. Van Rayner, near corner in the Triton zone on the stick of Lex Ballard. A shot, glove save. No, it just kicked out of the glove of Layden. Pushed out to the blue line now for Micah Clark. A shot just wide of the net. Never even made it past the posts. Number 20 will pick it up and try and play it. Off the boards now onto the stick of number 3. The Cougs trying to pin down the Tritons in their half. 6 minutes left to play in period number 1. Still 0-0. Neither team is yet to break the ice. Ballard will skate in himself. Blew a tire. He falls down. No tripping penalty. Bushkin tried to put a shot on goal, but never quite reached it. And there will be a penalty here as there was a trip on Lex Ballard, who got his skates mixed up with a stick. And now the Cougs have their second man advantage of the night. And let's see if they can't capitalize, see if they can't break the ice in frame number 1.
Well, that's definitely one way to stop Lex Ballard. He's speeding around you. He's a fast guy. Stick your stick out. Trip him a little bit. It could be illegal. Yes, it is. They're going to get a power play here, and they have to do what they did last time, minus maybe 18 passes here. They got to just shoot the puck.
Max Lazaro on the power play unit. He wins the faceoff. Carlson at the blue line, passes it across for Sam Henry. A shot, a trickling puck that just went wide of the net. Picked up by Lars Baum, and he clears it all the way down ice. Cole Carlson getting his cardio in. We'll have to go and chase down this puck, but it's played by Alexi Cool onto the stick of Max Lazaro. In his own quadrant, here they come. Leaves it for Cole Carlson, just barely on his stick. Past the logo. Here come the Cougs. They break into the zone cleanly. Sam Henry fires a pass across, broken up by the defensive stick again for the Tritons. That was number 20. That was Saku Sakaguchi who broke up that play, but here come the Cougs. Van Rayner fires a shot off a defensive stick and off the body of Layden and clear down the ice. Again, the Cougs just cannot connect on the power play.
And Layden looks actually really solid right now. I mean, just stopping off that shot from Van Rayner. If there's one rule for a goalie, never get beat short side. Always respect the shot, and he did there.
Lazaro fires a shot right into the logo of Layton. He'll hold on, swallows it whole, and we'll have a face-off in the Tritons quadrant.
And just 67 seconds left on this power play, and the Cougars just have to keep shooting the puck. They have to create lanes. Yes, you can move the puck, but you can't have one too many passes. You can't have fancy passes that get picked off right in the slot and cleared. They just have to create lanes and shoot the puck from long range, get deflections, get different looks from Layton, and get him off his game.
So Hovinen squares off with Tartaglia and loses the draw, but Carlson's going to pick up this puck. Near side, so Hovinen with it now. Gives it for Lex Ballard behind the cage of Layton. On his backhand, shovels it out for Lucas Robinson, his D-mate. Pass across for Cole Carlson. He can't field it. Had a 1-T opportunity, but just kind of whiffed on it in a sense. He'll backhand it around for Van Rainer. Near wing, will he fire a shot on goal? Yes, he will. Tipped off the stick of Sahovinen and wide. Picked up now the rebound by Lucas Robinson. Plays catch with Lex Ballard. Gives it across for Van Rainer. Laying out some tries. He makes the men miss. A shot off the glove and body of Layton. Past the blue line. The Cougs are forced to hit the refresh button again. Here comes Cole Carlson, team captain. Can he get the Cougs on the board? Tries to shove off a man, but he's pushed into the near corner. Van Rainer trying to play this puck. It's onto the stick of number 13. That's Chris Fader. He'll bring it in, the freshman, with an opportunity to break the ice. Fires a shot right into the glove of Alexi Kuhl. He drops it down, puts the blocker over the top of it, melts it down. We'll have a face-off in the Cougar quadrant, 0-0, with about 4 minutes left in frame number 1.
The Cougars have just come so close to scoring just quite a few times here, especially on the power play. It looks effective. They're controlling the puck a bit, but again, that one they did a lot better at really just getting the puck on the net, kind of getting different looks for Layton, just trying to get him out of position, just couldn't do it. And to go to Carlson's defense, that puck that he had maybe for a one-timer was right on edge, kind of a bouncing puck, really tough to one-time that and settle it down.
This puck is ice, and it'll be brought back into the Triton zone. The Cougs will have a face-off in the O zone and an opportunity to possibly break the ice. 3 minutes and 31 seconds left in frame number 1. You're watching Cougar Hockey live on KUGR Cougar College Radio. If you're watching the stream and want some more Cougar sports, please hit the subscribe button and help us get to 500 subscribers on the channel. Off the draw, passed out in front. No one was there but the Tritons. Layton lays out, puts the glove over the top of it, melts it down, and we'll do it again. Deja vu, have another face-off in the Triton zone.
And Senior Titoyan just making a very veteran play there, just kind of puts the puck right into Layton, just gets it out of harm's way, doesn't chance any kind of turnover in the defensive zone, and you get a face-off and get your players a little bit of rest, and you get a change.
Evan King to the face-off circle, opposed by number 40. Tritons win the draw. Number 7, Garrick, will play it off the boards, but it's kept in by the Cougs. They'll fire it in deeper. Hank Hamlet now with the puck. Loses it in his own skates. Turns it almost right over. No, they'll pin it against the boards. Life will resume eventually. And it finally does. Hank Hamlet tries to feed a pass to Evan King. Doesn't quite get on his stick, but he has to track it down on the far wing. Scrumming for it. Hank Hamlet will come up with it. What are his options? Turns it right over to number 40. Clears it out to the blue line, but sealed off by Sam Henry, who's able to shake off a man. They'll say it's offsides, and the Cougs are going to get kicked out to the neutral zone. An interesting call there from the line judge. I don't know about you, Zach, if you had a better view of that, but I couldn't quite see if Sam Henry was able to kind of tiptoe that line.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty on the line. My vantage point, very flat on the ice, essentially the same as a linesman would be, and I thought that he had kind of gotten that, kept it on the blue line a bit, and I think that could have been a bench call a little bit. The Tritons bench directly behind the linesman. It wanted it initially, and they got it.
So Hovinen gets beat by Tartaglia again at the face-off circle, and the Tritons push it into the Cougar zone. Tritons can't seal it off, and here comes Cole Carlson with an opportunity. Can he chase it down? Overskated it, and now the Tritons in the neutral zone are going to try and break past the blue line. Turns it right over to Luke Jurgensen. Here come the Cougs. Jurgensen with Carlson. What will he do? The 6-year student out of MSU, the former Bobcat turned Cougar, loosen the skates of Samuli Sahovinen. Tartaglia tries to fight for it. Jurgensen now to play it across for Michael Clark. He can't get it on his stick, and it's cleared into the neutral zone. Here come the Tritons. Sekaguchi tried to fire it across for number 3. Doesn't work. It's picked off by Cole Carlson. Feeds a pass for Samuli Sahovinen, the man from Finland, and he turns it over to Sekaguchi. So just some turnover after turnover hockey, which you see a lot in the ACHA. Cougs forced a turnover. Cole Carlson was able to stick lift and take that puck away. Tries to give it for Lucas Robinson, but he's pinned against the boards by Adrian Garcia. Sealed off of the blue line by 7. That's Hudson Garrick. He fires a shot that goes wide. Luke Jurgensen plays it around the boards. Garrick seals it off, fires it out in front. No one was there. Onto the stick of Jurgensen. tried to leave it for Lex Ballard, but he wasn't there, so Hovinen tries to move it out, and he gets onto the stick of Cole Carlson. Team captain tries to move through some bodies, and it's taken away again. The Tritons fired on that, off the blockers. They shoot, they score! The Tritons break the ice in California with 1:22 left on the clock. They catch the Cougs sleeping, and they have a 1-0 lead.
And that is a stunning goal. If you are Washington State, you kind of, really spent all that period on the power play a few times trying to get it in. You can't, and then you give up a goal late in the period, which is always a little bit demoralizing. And to a team, again, that you should be beating right now, to go down 1-0, to even be tied with this team here late in the first period like this, that is a win for the Tritons, to say the least.
Tritons win the draw and fire it right back into the Cougar zone. Chasing it down is Ethan Maurer, the freshman. Haven't seen a lot of him this year. Plays it onto the stick of David Bushkin, the other freshman. He's got it on his backhand. Moves in behind the cage of Layden. Turned right over onto the stick of Eric Hollander. Emma LaHoulier is there to try and play it as well. Blowing a tire, Lex Ballard collided down to the ice. A minute left to play in frame number 1. The Tritons leading 1-0. Played out to the blue line. Keegan Lucas, that's Reed Mullen, who fired it off his stick, and it's cleaned up by Max Lazaro. Tried to center it, wasn't able to. Reed Mullen keeps it in the zone, gets it on the stick of Van Rayner, senior alternate captain. Lazaro plays this bouncing puck, tries to center it, doesn't quite work again. 30 seconds left in the frame. Cougs have a little bit of time to even up this game. Out for Mullen, across for Maurer. He puts on a move, makes a man miss. Can he put a shot? No, he overskated his own handle. They'll fire it on net, out in front. A mad dash, and it's cleared away by the Tritons. They survive again. Layden getting super lucky in this matchup. In the neutral zone, it's fired back in onto the stick of Ethan Maurer. They got 10 seconds left to get something going. Right onto the blocker of Layden. He'll just option to cover it and melt it down. You got 6 minutes left, and the Cougs are going to have a face-off in the Triton zone.
No doubt about luck there. Isaac Layton had no idea where that puck was. It was deflected. It was bouncing a couple of times, just kind of rimming around the edge of the crease, and somehow it didn't go in. Ethan Maurer, of course, fanning on a shot where it could have been just a snipe easy money right in the mid-slot area, but you can't get it home, and now you're going to go down 1-0 to start the second period.
Tartaglia wins another face-off, and they'll watch the last 6 seconds tick off the clock. Frame number 1 goes to the Tritons. They win it 1-0 with 20 minutes in the books. The Cougs looking very, very, very sloppy after 20 minutes of play in California.
Yeah, and they're just forcing plays that aren't there. Lots of just blind passes coming out front to the slot where you're just getting it picked off. It's hitting off skates. Guys aren't even there half of the time. You're just looking for plays, again, that are just not there. And instead, you get shots on goal on a power play, and a lot of the puck luck right now going in favor of the Tritons. And, of course, Isaac Layden just having a great game so far when he's had it. He's not seeing the puck all too well, but he's been strong in the net, and nonetheless, a big goose egg on the board for the Cougars to start.
Absolutely. The broomsticks for the UCSD Tritons have been very, very great at breaking up passing lanes, breaking up shooting lanes, sweeping these opportunities away from the Cougs. That's been the blueprint for them so far tonight, and it's been working very, very well. They lead it 1-0 after 20 minutes in the hourglass have elapsed, and we will head to the first intermission of this Pac-8 matchup. Smith Slye joined by Zach McFarlane in the broadcast booth in sunny California. You're listening to Cougar Hockey only on KUGR, Cougar College Radio. Please subscribe to the channel. We'll be back after the first intermission. We'll be right back.
Martzoff fired it in off the skate there of Robinson, who angles it off the glass and out. And now an opportunity for the man, the myth. Cole Carlson all alone. Score! A shorthanded goal. He is now pointed 3 of 3. Amazing forecheck, but now Matthew Taylor sends it. Carlson lets the howitzer go. He scores! Beautiful snipe
shot. Beautiful.
What a snipe. Cole Carlson on the power play, and the Cougars have cut the lead in half.
As he's got two Cougs pinning him against the boards. And here comes a feed pass for Cole Carlson with a head of steam. Can he get a shorty? Backhand dangles, shot, he scores! A shorthanded goal. Cole Carlson, the team captain, puts the team on his back and cuts the lead to only one.
We will try our best as here's an opportunity. David Bushkin getting around. Moving on in and a shot. He scores! David Bushkin!
He's got David Bushkin, the freshman, stops the Sharks, puts the on goal, he scores! David Bushkin, the freshman, 8 goals so far this year. It just continues.
Gets it back. The Eagles under major pressure. Bushkin toward the net. He sails it! Washington State takes a 5-3 lead with 13 seconds to go and a dagger.
And here the Cougs come once again. Van Rainer pushing it up. The tall forward shoots, scores! What a wrist shot right there from Van Rainer as he gets a hattie. My, oh my, what a shot right there. It's a 5-0 hockey game as Van Rainer doing a good job fighting. Able to stick it clear and keep the possession for the Cougs. Here comes Van Rainer again. Makes a move. Rainer drives it towards the net. Agaflaudier, top right, bang! My, oh my! Van Rainer has 5. As they're breaking in once again, that's Nico. He might be looking for the hat. He tries to send it out in front of Kings Kelly. Nothing found, but Van by himself, and he scores! What is happening? Lazaro looking to get something going. Makes number 20 of the Vandals miss. Sends it out front to Van Rainer. One time and that's Lazaro shoots and scores! My, oh my!
Out of the hands there of Ryder. Carlson was crushed by Ryder. Lazaro, star! What a snipe! That goes top glove. There was a penalty called on the play.
And that one straight away ahead for Carlson. Carlson dropping it off Lazaro. A little crisscross. Lazaro shot. He scores! Max Lazaro, top shelf yet again.
Martzoff fired it in off the skate there of Robinson, who angles it off the glass and out. And now an opportunity for the man, the myth, Cole Carlson all alone. Score! A shorthanded goal. He is now pointed 3 of 3. Amazing forecheck, but now Matthew Taylor sends it. Carlson lets the howitzer go. He scores! What a snipe.
Shot. Beautiful.
What a snipe. Cole Carlson on the power play, and the Cougars have cut the lead in half.
As he's got two Cougs pinning him against the boards. And here comes a feed pass for Cole Carlson with a head of steam. Can he get a shorty? Backhand dangles, shot, he scores! A shorthanded goal. Cole Carlson, the team captain, puts the team on his back and cuts the lead to only one.
We'll try our best as here's an opportunity. David Bushkin getting around. Moving on in and a shot. He scores! David Bushkin!
He's got David Bushkin, the freshman. He stops the Sharks. Puts the on goal. He scores!
David Bushkin, the freshman, 8 goals so far this year. It just continues.
Gets it back. The Eagles under major pressure. Bushkin toward the net. He sails it! Washington State takes a 5-3 lead with 13 seconds to go and a dagger.
And here the Cougs come once again. Van Rainer pushing it up. The tall forward shoots, scores! What a wrist shot right there from Van Rainer as he gets a hattie. My, oh my, what a shot right there. It's a 5-0 hockey game as Van Rainer doing a good job fighting, able to stick it clear and keep the possession for the Cougs. Here comes Van Rainer again, makes a move. Rainer drives it towards the net. Agaflaudier, top right, bang! My, oh my! Van Rainer has 5. As they're breaking in once again, that's Nico. He might be looking for the hat. He tries to send it out in front of Kinskill. Nothing found, but Van by himself, and he scores! What is happening? Lazaro looking to get something going. Makes number 20 of the Vandals miss. Sends it out front to Van Rainer. One timer, that's Lazaro! Shoots and scores! My, oh my!
Out of the hands there of Ryder. Carlson was crushed by Ryder. Lazaro, score! What a snipe! That goes top glove. There was a penalty called on the play.
And that one straight away ahead for Carlson. Carlson dropping it off Lazaro. A little crisscross. Lazaro shot. He scores! Max Lazaro, top shelf yet again.
Martzoff fired it in off the skate there of Robinson, who angles it off the glass and out. And now an opportunity for the man, the myth, Cole Carlson, all alone. Score! A shorthanded goal. He is now pointed 3 of 3. Amazing forecheck, but now Matthew Taylor sends it. Carlson lets the howitzer go. He scores! What a snipe.
Shot. Beautiful.
What a snipe. Cole Carlson on the power play, and the Cougars have cut the lead in half.
As he's got 2 Cougs pinning him against the boards. And here comes a feed pass for Cole Carlson with a head of steam. Can he get a shorty? Backhand, dangles, shot, he scores! A shorthanded goal. Cole Carlson, the team captain, puts the team on his back and cuts the lead to only 1.
We'll try our best as here's an opportunity. David Bushkin getting around. Moving on in and a shot. He scores! David Bushkin!
He's got David Bushkin, the freshman. He stops the Sharks. Puts the on goal. He scores!
David Bushkin, the freshman, 8 goals so far this year. It just continues.
Gets it back. The Eagles under major pressure. Bushkin toward the net. He sails it!
Washington State takes a 5-3 lead with 13 seconds to go and a dagger.
You are listening to a KUGR sports production.
Another rushing touchdown for what might be the best rushing quarterback in all of college football right now.
Your eyes and ears for every WSU sporting event.
What a play! What a kill by Brewstad!
Listen live to games on YouTube at KUGR Sports.
Underneath it, Johnstone makes the grab and wins the game. Washington State wins it 7-5. Logan Johnstone makes the snag.
And now, here are your hosts.
You're listening to Cougar Hockey on KUGR.
We are here in Alyssa Viejo, and I'm Zach McFarlane, joined by Smith Slye on KUGR. If you don't get that, it's a little Anchorman references. Of course, we are in Southern California and near San Diego. Thought I could throw it in there. Nonetheless, 1-0. The Tritons, in fact, have the lead over the Cougars in what would be a gigantic upset. And, you know, during the intermission, I was daydreaming a little bit, and I had a bit of an epiphany that the Cougars are going to come out in this period and play much better. But in order to do that, what is the first step for them that they need to take to actually get on the board?
Well, Zach, it's got to be passing. There were numerous times during that period where you saw the Cougs feed a pass to just absolutely nobody. We say it a lot on the broadcast, a pass to no one in particular. That seems to be our go-to phrase a lot of the times. There were a lot of passes. They were trying to center it into the slot. No one was there to kind of stuff it home. And the Cougs, and the other part of it is the power play. They had 2 man advantages in that game, in that period. The UCSD Tritons did not have any man advantages in that first frame, but the Cougs were unable to capitalize on it. They were trying to center it out in front for Van Rainer, the trash man we like to call him. He cleans up the trash on these power plays and stuffs them home. He's got 6 power play goals so far this year, ties him for second place with Aaron James on the Western Washington Vikings, Brett Brumbaugh also on the Vikings, Dom DeZerkis on the Eastern Eagles, and Sean Smith also on the Eagles. And then first place with 8 power play goals is Colton Fazio on the Cal Berkeley Bears. So Van Rainer has been very efficient on the man advantage, but so far in this game, he just wasn't able to connect on it. The Cougs weren't able to connect on it at all in those 2 man advantages they have. So really, if you're the Cougs, if you're Coug fans, if the Cougs can clean up the passing game and can connect on the man advantage, I wouldn't be surprised if they maybe win the second frame of action.
Yeah, and he's been sitting at 6 power play goals for quite a while, and the Cougar power play doesn't often connect. But you're right, he had a lot of chances there. But what the Cougars need to do is just stop forcing things that aren't there, and that's exactly what they were doing, passing out in the slot, hitting skates, getting it caught in shoelaces. They just couldn't get it done, and they really need to here as we get set for the second period. Defensively, they've looked strong. Is there anything that they need to do defensively, maybe a little bit better, clear the puck? They haven't allowed too many shots, but of course, they did allow a goal on Alexi Cool on a rebound, 1-0. What's something they could do defensively to essentially not allow that to happen?
To be perfectly honest with you, Zach, they're doing everything defensively right, you could say. That one goal was, of course, they kind of rushed in, kind of caught the Cougs sleeping a little bit, fired a shot, picked up the rebound, they were able to stuff it home. So nothing, you couldn't really say, man, they could really be doing better on defense. The defense has been okay for the Cougs so far. Really, it's been the defense for the Tritons that's been kind of the star of the show at the moment. They are making senior goaltender out of El Cajon, California, Isaac Layden. They are making him look absolutely phenomenal, despite the fact that coming into this game, he had an .855 save percentage. He was averaging about 6.78 goals against on average, and he is just not looking like that. He is looking more like Alexi Cool, who's only averaging about 4.5 goals against, had an .895 save percentage, is one of the best goaltenders in the league. Isaac Layden is looking absolutely phenomenal in the crease right now for the Tritons, and Alexi Cool didn't necessarily get left out to dry. He hasn't had to face very many shots, but for the Cougs, you just got to break past that Tritons defense because they are just looking absolutely locked down in their own hemisphere at the moment. They've been able to just shut down attack after attack after attack for the Cougs. They've tried to break in, and they just can't find the solution to that Tritons defense.
They definitely have been strong. Great blue line presence, and they lead 1-0 as 20 minutes added back on the clock here to start the second of course, you will see Cole Carlson, Jurgensen, and the line of Samuli Sahovinen out there. And you will switch it up a little bit with Keegan Lucas pairing with Sam Hemry on defense. And it looks like for the Tritons, they will run their line of the Jackson Marley line. Sophomore, the younger Marley brother. And Tartaglia will look to be on defense, of course, joined by Hudson Gerke. And we will get going underway here in the second period as the puck has dropped. And it is won out essentially by Hemry, and he will bank that off a skate and into the zone and turned by Titoyan. That one is out for Keegan Lucas. Tartaglia stood up there by Jurgensen. What a hit right there, my goodness. And now he spins this one back into the zone. Carlson chasing Tartaglia for this. I beg your pardon. That is Tartoyan. Coming out with it along the half wall. Samuli Sahovinen trying to step by and couldn't. He was shut off there by Sekaguchi. This one is left out. Sekaguchi now moving through the zone. Good speed here. Tried to drop it off. Leaves it there for Tartaglia, but nothing comes of it. It comes to the half wall, and now an interception play for Jurgensen. Carlson had that one sticked away by Gerke, and it's dumped back in, and here's an opportunity. Here's a shot whistled right by the pipe. That came from Sekaguchi. A good chance, and now the other way, a counterattack. Carlson unable to get by, but the puck comes through and all the way around the end board. Lucas kept it alive at the blue line and threw one back, opposite corner, and that one again wide. Embry battling along the left corner. Unable to see is me, unfortunately, and here we are going the other way. Here's Colander, threw one toward the slot, and that one was just bounced off a couple of twigs and went wide. This one off the side of the cage and shortened off there by Kuhl and laid out to Jurgensen. To Carlson, dumping it in through center. He's able to tip that one, and the Cougars will get a full change other than Rayner, who came on a little bit early. 5 men on the ice for sure that time for the Cougars. They got away with one early in the period in the first. Had 6 guys out there for at least 10 seconds as this one is dumped in. Reed Mullen after this one, and Mullen just poking that one further on. Bushkin, nice cross-ice pass, just quite can't connect. Just past the stick of Lazaro, and the Tritons will regroup.
Again, we see the passing kind of just biting the Cougs in the butt a little bit. They can't connect, and if you can't connect, you can't gain the blue line cleanly. You can't break in. You can't get very many shots on goal. You're not going to be able to score very much. So the Cougs need to clean that up, and that goes for everybody, including David Bushkin, who's been great this year. Just needs to clean up that passing.
And it's interesting because passing has definitely been an issue for this Cougar team, but recently, from what we've seen, they have looked fantastic. They were connecting against Western, and of course, last night, to be able to kind of hold with SDSU, you have to look pretty solid. And then coming into this game, it's almost like maybe are their heads too big a little bit coming into the series. As here is Evan King. He will win the draw clean. It's dumped back in by Clark. Micah, the defenseman, will be on that, of course. There are 2 Clark brothers for those who are new here, and this is taken by Micah Clark. He kept it alive at the blue line. Shielding this one on the backhand and threw it down in below the goal, and that one taken by LaHoulier, but poked off quickly there, and the loose puck is somewhere around the side of the net. Micah Clark trying to jam it. This one thrown out in front, poking away at it. Brandon Smith almost had a chance. This one is thrown all the way out and kept alive by King in the neutral zone, so no icing, and the Cougars will try and just rush it back in. That one right into the skates of Hamlet. He had no idea where that puck was, and now bringing it back in are the Tritons. And good play from King to take it away there from Gutzialis, the man from Seattle. Smith trying to work on by. He has been incredible. Smith taking it around. Can't hang on to it. Looking maybe to hand it off there for a Hamlet, but it was stolen away by Titoyan, who still is battling. In the left corner. 4-man scrum from what I can see, of course. It gets a little narrow down there. And Titoyan will take it out in the opposite corner. And he is almost forechecked from behind there, and the stick kind of pops up. Somebody's twig fell out. I believe that was the stick there of Kellen Zhang. And the puck comes back into play. Layden comes out to play it and leaves it off for Gerke.
I do have to say the physicality has been on full display, as you saw right there. Hank Hamlet kind of lowered the shoulder. Both these teams are playing both very physical brands of hockey, and we'll see who kind of comes out on top in that physical aspect of the game.
Definitely a lot more physical, especially this period to start, and I think the Cougars maybe are trying to set that tone. That is what they're best at, is physical play. That's what they do. That is their identity. And this one can be played, taken out by the Tritons. Here comes Sekaguchi across the line. Linesman blocked my view a little bit. Floated one toward the net. Oh, my goodness, and wide for Tartaglia. And then sprawling across to make that save was cool. He denied that one on the doorstep. At just over 4 minutes gone by here in the second period. With speed, here comes Lucas trying to split the defense and toe drag around one. Could not, as Johnny Adrian got away from that. And this one is tipped up into the mesh off the shot by Sam Hembry, tipped by the stick of Jackson Marley.
Yeah, Keegan Lucas looking like Cole Carlson there with the signature toe drag, tries to move past the defender, but not able to break past him again. This defense for the Tritons is looking absolutely elite so far from the Tritons. They've just been shutting down the Cougs time and time again. 15 minutes and 30 seconds left in period number 2, and the Tritons still leading 1-0.
Cougars will need to pull anything out of the rucksack they have to help them win this game, or even possibly their tool bag. They're going to need to reach deep into there to pull just a goal out if they can, or an offensive chance. As you're right, the defensive scheme here from the Tritons is working to perfection. You almost wonder if Mike McDonald is behind the bench here for the Tritons tonight. Just masterclass so far, as we are pretty much live in the action, essentially, and a jumping through the legs pass from Mullen, as Bushkin will take it across the blue line. Bushkin walks right in a shot that floats right in, and then he trips over the netminder. But no physical altercation comes from that, and we will have a stoppage of play at 5:06 transpired in the second.
Yeah, that's a tough one there for Bushkin. Made about 90% of that play. Broke in himself, went up the gut, tried to shake off 2 defenders, and then, of course, just wasn't able to get the blade to the shot. Trickles onto the net of Isaac Layden. That's one of the easier shots he's had to face so far this game. Just makes a very easy save on that.
Never left the surface of the ice or even bounced. Just kind of floated and maybe a few miles per hour right into his glove. Really no altercation there. And now along the boards, Lazaro trying to work it over. Van Rayner trying to pressure. Lazaro tried to feather that one to the slot. Could not. Comes to the point. Mullen tried to pinch it off the board to get it in deep, but could not. Walking the other way now, Chris Fighter walks in a shot off the leg of Robinson. Alexi Cool trying to get back in his position. Fighter will send it down low. Has his man in Andrew Garcia. Garcia dancing around a couple. Tried to get that one right back to Fighter and can't. Tritons really working over the Cougs here in their own zone. Lee couldn't spin that one away. And now it is Robinson carrying it ahead. Robinson will dance across the line, shielding the puck on his forehand. Leaves it off backhand, but again, another blind pass from the Cougars that goes nowhere but to a Triton stick and eventually is cleared out. And now a neutral zone battle here as Colander dumps it in.
Again, the Cougs, the passing has just been brutal. Lucas Robinson trying to leave it for David Bushkin, and they just have, it's like they're just on completely different pages. They're cracking open the paperback, but can't find each other on the same page.
No kidding. They look like they're completely different chapters of the book here, as this is Lex Ballard trying to defend Madden Marley, the older brother of the Marley guys here on the Tritons. This one is sent way out. King with some speed, trying to gather it. And a shot there, and it is held. A great save made by Layden. And just more frustration being pent up here for the Cougars as they cannot net one.
That might have been the most quality shot on goal the Cougs have had all game. That was Evan King, the freshman, broke in, tried to put that shot on goal. It's sealed off by Layden. Evan King's got 2 goals, only 1 assist so far this year. He got off to a hot start, similar to Hank Hamlet, and then cooled off for a large part of the year. And I'd like to see Evan King maybe net that one next time.
He definitely needs to, and he just needs to pick a better spot. You can't shoot it right into the goalie's stomach and expect for it to go in. It surely won't pretty much all the time if you go there, as this one is played to the corner where it is not visible for us, at least in the slightest. Jurgensen gets it off for a pass at the point. Clark tried to float that one toward the goal, and it's knocked away to the opposite corner, and it will eventually be cleared out, and the bouncing puck comes all the way down for an icing. The linesman calls it, and he has quite a beard and mullet kind of long hair flow going on there. And it was flowing in the wind as he skated down to call the icing.
You got a bit of a mullet yourself, Zach. Are you jealous at all with the style he's got down there?
He definitely has a bit longer than I do. He's shown me up in that department. I don't know if I could rock it like that, but the beard is what I'm most jealous of. He's got quite something going there. A little bit of gray, but you know what? That's all right. Everyone gets gray at some point. Here's one sent out front, knocked away again. The Cougars just being denied of pretty much every opportunity. Hembry sent one on net. That one, again, blocked before it could reach the goal. Now you have the Tritons with an opportunity. Jurgensen trying to back check. Oh, my goodness, he crunched that man right there. That was Zach Fleming. He was crunched along the board, and now Jurgensen will try and clear it out and break it out himself. Jurgensen Walking over the line, just sent one on net, and again, just caught the stick of a Triton. Back to the point of Hembry. Another twig caught on that shot. The Cougars just cannot find one and not find a clear lane to shoot from. And now the man with the C, Cole Carlson, will break it out of his own zone. And for Hembry in his skates, he will find it and try to click that off the board. Could not. And now for the stick of Maurer, who's trying to settle it down. Banked off the stanchion. I think he tried to get that out and could not. And then this one for Tartaglia. Danced through a couple, but the loose puck comes to the corner. Tartaglia trying to pitchfork that back to the point. Cole Carlson pickpockets that one away. Taken now by Rayner. A little bit of line shifting here. Rayner threw an out front pinch back to the point. A couple of Cougars still on, trying to go for a change as Robinson could not touch that one up just yet, or it would have been a too many men. And then this one dumped in. And again back for Robinson. He hurries one toward the goal, and it goes well wide. Mullen settles it down, does it himself, and that one goes wide to the opposite side. Robinson skates up the half wall, shields the puck around the cage, lost it somewhere in behind. Taken back there, that is Bushkin. Spinning away from harm's way in the corner. Bushkin just battles it out front, loose puck to the side of the net, and it is held by the blocker and pinched to the post for a whistle from the linesman.
I gotta say, Zach, a lot of hockey games, you'll see the physicality that's on display here, and the physicality comes with animosity. The two teams, that they don't like each other. They'll get into scraps. They'll get into a little bit of fighting. That's kind of what we saw with Western. A couple of guys getting thrown out. That's not necessarily the most fun hockey game to watch. This is a fun hockey game. You got physicality, but no bruised egos, no bruised feelings so far in this game.
Not at all, unless, of course, you're the Cougars and you cannot get on the board for a second straight period. Then you start to kind of have a little doubt creep in, I would think. As here's a shot on goal that is again stopped by Layden. And of course, with Isaac Layden, he has not been the starter by any means for this Triton team. So to see him come in here for his 5th game, he is 0-4 on the year, and just have a good performance so far against a offense that has been rolling pretty well in the last few games. It's got to be a big confidence booster for him, and his team, I'm sure, is just fired up about it. As here is Evan King in the corner, just battling away. He has been a good player out there for the Cougars today. He has just been a hard forechecking machine, similar to Brandon Smith's style of plays. Here's Ballard, a shot. He scores! Lex Ballard looked like he shot it, and it may have gotten tipped in front. We will see who the line leader might be. And it's going to be Brandon Smith, who we were just talking about. What an end of the year he's having, and it is tied here in California.
After that Western game, one of the names that Coach Fibonacci brought up a lot was Brandon Smith, the senior out of Mill Creek, Washington. That's his 3rd goal on the year. He was having a very quiet year in his senior campaign, but recently he's been just absolutely buzzing, getting assist after assist, and now finally a Gino.
And that is huge for the Cougars, just finally able to get on the board, and you almost wonder if that is going to be just an early sign to show of maybe many goals to come, or, of course, this game could just be close the entire remainder of the game. This one kind of just thrown one-handed on net. Out in front, oh my goodness, what a stop. Alexi Kuhl, that was a lot more luck than anything. The shot that came from Matt Marley is right into the shoulder of Alexi Kuhl, who had really no time to react to that puck.
Like I mentioned before, Alexi Kuhl hasn't really been challenged that much in this game. That was probably one of the better opportunities that the Tritons have had. But, you know, in the one goal that did leak in, again, was a rebound shot that they were able to kind of stuff home. So if you're Alexi Kuhl, you want to just hope that your defense can just keep filtering pucks away from the net.
The defense, again, has been strong. At least it was in the first period. They were doing pretty well when they gave up a real grade A chance there. The Tritons cannot cash in. So this game remains tied as we have reached the halfway point of regulation in a 1-1 game. Here's one out in front, and that one is eventually held by number 32 in blue and gold.
Good turnover there. That was David Bushkin behind the cage of Layden. He was able to force that turnover and then look for somebody to pass to out in front. And with that right there, you got to hope that that goal from Brandon Smith sparks something in the Cougs, gets the blood going a little bit, gets some momentum back in their favor so they can maybe start to run away with this game a little bit.
Cougars need to carry their offensive momentum that they have right now. Good pressure here again. Good forechecking from the second line in Bushkin and Rayner. As here's now the Tritons carrying it the other way. Tatoyan spins it back. There's one out in front and a grade A chance from Marley. That is Jackson, who couldn't grab it. The younger Marley brother unable to Odell that one, and it goes into the mesh and out of play.
That was a beautiful play set up from the Tritons. Like you said, that was the tone. Had the puck in the near side, fed it for Marley. He just kind of went down to a knee like he was proposing and looked for the slap shot. It didn't quite connect on it like he wanted to. But again, a really good opportunity for the Tritons, and they're trying to get things back in their favor in this game.
Mullen able to chip that off the boards and get that out, and then now is Bushkin to pressure here against Gerke. Gerke will just kind of chip that one again off the boards and out to the neutral zone. This one spun over to Tartaglia, and this one thrown on net as he left it off for Jackson and couldn't put it home. Here comes Lazaro moving in. Right wing shot way above the goaltender and into the glass, and they will battle along for it in the opposite corner. Rayner pressing off Tartaglia the puck. Now to Toyin joining the fun. Max Lazaro trying to stick lift a little bit there, and this one is a reaching play by Jackson Marley, able to push that one out. Wow. A good effort from him to get that puck and clear it out and across the blue line, and the Cougars will now try and catch him on a change. Rayner up the left wing, settling it down, patiently going around the cage, just sent one out front. Nobody there once more. And Mullen unable to keep it alive. Now the Tritons may have an opportunity, maybe a 2-on-1 if they hurry. Here's one thrown to the front. Down low, what a stop. Alexi Cool saving the day. What a save, my goodness. But now a counterattack. Here comes Hamlin and a shot off the mask of the netminder and up and behind the net. Cougars keeping pressure on here. Clark will just feed it down low, just cycling the puck. Smith relays it on in behind the cage. It comes to the back point again. Clark able to keep that alive. No, he can't. It comes across the line, and the Cougars will have to just dump it in and tag up.
Cougs falling back into their old ways here. Again, not communicating well on these passes, centering pucks to nobody in particular. It just kind of looks like they're hoping and praying. They're just hoping that somebody is there to receive that pass, and that's not how you win hockey games. You have to actually be able to connect and have chemistry with the guys on the ice, and if you're not able to do that, you're not going to be able to win games, especially not in the ACHA.
And when we talk about that grade A chance from Andrew Garcia, just a nice feed down low to him, had really a chance, a little mini breakaway all alone, and Alexi Cool stoning him cold with a great pad stop as Evan King stands up his man and Eric Colander there. I beg your pardon, that is Lars Baum, because the Tritons will work it out. It is Gerke carrying it across in a 2-on-1. Gerke walks in, and it is an offside. The linesman calls it and getting a little too excited. And the Tritons, with 7:05 to go, will have a faceoff outside their offensive zone.
The man with the mullet read my mind. I saw them bring it in offsides there as they handed it off to Madden Marley, one of the Marley brothers he brought in. I realized right away that looked a little sketchy there. And then, of course, like he said, as I said, he read my mind. Could see that they brought it offsides, and this is a good opportunity for the Cougs maybe swing things back their way.
Although this is definitely one of the most interesting spots we have quite a view of the blue line going into the current Cougars defensive zone. So we have just about as good of a view as the linesmen do. So any offsides, we cannot say that we don't have a great view of it, as this one goes out into the Cougar bench, and we will have a face-off now on the outside of the Cougar offensive zone with 6:56 to go in period 2. Game still tied 1-1. Hembry off the face-off win. Dumps it in, at least tries to, but it is off a stick of a Triton and into the mesh, so we will just do it again on the opposite dot.
Yeah, Sam Henry definitely frustrated there. You saw it right there, just kind of clapped the boards in the net right in front of our camera woman, Kate Cherney, on the camera for us tonight.
She has been great, as here is a puck down low, cycled across to the opposite corner, and again, Carlson soccered one back to the point. Lucas sent one on net. That one goes wide. Not sure if that one got tipped out in front there and shouldered away. A great shrug save again is made by Layden. It comes all the way down, and this will be an icing. Wow. Does Isaac Layden have some adhesive on him or what? The pucks have just been sticking to him, not quite getting in. 6:25 to go, still tied in the second.
If you're the Tritons, you've gotten basically everything you could have asked for and more out of Isaac Lane. Again, he's averaging about 7 goals a game, but so far he's only allowed 1 in about 1.5 periods played. And you have a back-to-back games against the Cougs on this weekend. Your last regular season showing against a good Cougar team, and your backup goaltender basically is putting on a bit of a clinic in the crease. So again, if you're the Tritons, you are getting all you could have asked for and more from Isaac Layden.
You have tons of confidence in your goalie, and you just have to really, when you play any team with any goalie, but right now your Tendy is really putting up great numbers. He's keeping this game close, and this is when you have to capitalize offensively before it becomes too late, and the Cougars have really been on the wrong end of that many, many times, especially against Boise State really early on in the year. Alexi Kuhl had over 70 stops in that game alone. Van Rainer tried to float one on net. That one's off a shin pad of a man in blue and gold. The arm of the linesman is up for a delayed offside. Cougars have to tag up, and one man will change, and that'll be Lucas for Mullen. Bit of an exchange as this floating puck comes down. Lucas came off, and that allowed for a possible 2-on-0, but Kuhl will stop the puck as that one rolled right into him before any of the Tritons could make their way there.
Man, miscommunication after miscommunication after miscommunication. Cougs almost got caught in transition there. It was a 2-on-0 break. I mean, lucky for Lexi Kuhl, it leaked onto his net, and he was able to kind of cover it up and force a faceoff. But if the Cougs keep having those miscommunications, eventually one of them is bound to find the back of the net.
It could cost them, and even if you do kind of escape this one with a win, can you even really be proud of this one that lands in the W column? You're playing the Tritons, who, again, have struggled all year really in every aspect of the ice. But when you come in here a little bit maybe big-headed and you really struggle against a team that is struggling, to say the least, you just got to wonder what that does for the morale, even if you do win. As Robinson could not keep that alive, Lazaro dancing around a couple, spins away from another, and works his way in. Trying to dance around a little toe drag action there, but again, shut off eventually. And the puck right into the skates here of Sakaguchi, who just dumps it in. Now battles Brandon Smith for it. Sakaguchi coming out front. A wraparound try. That is denied by the long reach of Mullen. Tartaglia after it. Doesn't leave it off for Marley. Tartaglia floated one toward the slot. Nobody there, looking for Titoyan possibly, who is coming up from that defensive position. But nonetheless, it'll be Jackson Marley, who's pressured by Rayner. Puck is worked now by Hamlet. It'll come through center. Brandon Smith just kind of ushers that one for Robinson. Skating away from trouble and then banking that one off the glass and all the way out. It will not be an icing. Brandon Smith now, oh, what a big collision there on Gerke. Brandon Smith has been easily the Cougars' #1 forechecker here in the last few games. He has really come into his own, as now it's taken by King. Out of the blind spot, that is the corner. King comes out with it, dancing through a couple. Puck is now at the opposite half wall. King with a huge hit there, laying into Peter Dukakis. And the puck will come through Jackson Marley again, just trying to get away from Ballard. Ballard with much talent, but can't get away. Tartaglia now in the corner, just slaps it through the slot. Nobody there. And a little bit of collision in the slot, and no arm of the official is up. This one almost kept alive by Sakaguchi, but not quite. And they will regroup at center. Dancing through Titoyan. He's knocked away. Brandon Smith again, working it out of harm's way. And the Tritons will regroup in their own zone.
Man, there have been some absolutely massive hits down on the ice, and they are not cupcakes by any means. These are big hits that are just laying guys out. Brandon Smith, Evan King, lowering the shoulder at times. And again, like I said, there's no animosity. There's not really any kind of scrums or kind of confrontations at all. It's just heavy hits, and they keep on playing hockey. And again, those are the games you like to see, where you're not getting guys thrown out. You're not constantly having these fights, these confrontations. You're having big hits, quick energy, fast-paced hockey. So this is a great game to watch if you're here in the stadium.
Yeah, and I mean, there's just been so many turnovers. It just looks like on 5-on-5, you're watching 5 C.J. Strouds go against one another. It has been pretty brutal to watch, at least in the turnover column, as he had quite a rough game, and so are the Cougars. This one thrown by Maurer toward the crease, and again wide, looking for maybe Carlson on a deflection, as the Tritons will try and come up and, oh my goodness, a crunching hit right here, right by us, as Cole Carlson floats that one just out of the reach of the zone there, and then it's dumped back in. Maurer in after it, the rolling puck just sitting on edge. A turnover here, look out. The Tritons keeping possession along the far wall. This one again, all the way pushed back around. Dukakis will take credit for it, but the Cougars have no pressure here and will just float it down. This one all the way off the back wall. In after it there, Jurgensen. The big man with physical play, trying to work it in and around. Now he's pressuring his men. Dukakis just trying to get away with it, and he will find his way to Madden Marley and out to Lucas. Lucas will take it for the Cougs with 2:08 to go here in period 2. We are still deadlocked at 1 apiece. Lucas fires this one in off the stanchion on an odd bounce and a bouncing puck that finds itself in behind the goal line. In the blind spot that is the corner there. Carlson leaves it off at the point. Goes down low further. Lazaro to the slot. Again, nobody there. Not really any Cougar really anywhere close. This one floated out front. Safe rebound. They score! It is Max Lazaro on the loose puck, and the Cougars, with 1:42 to go in period 2, have taken their first lead of the night.
Well, if at first you don't succeed, try again. That's what the Cougs did right there. They had a shot on goal. It was denied by Layden. Another shot on goal. And again, denied by Layden. Third time, you're able to finally stuff something home. Max Lazaro, great goal there. His 11th of the year. So now he's got 11 goals and 6 assists in his sophomore campaign with the Cougs.
And here's Rayner. A little opportunity again here for the Cougars. Bushkin tried to poke that one out front, could not. And then this one sent out in front, looking for maybe the stick of Lazaro, looking for his second, but couldn't find him. Opportunity now for Tartaglia. I beg your pardon, that is Titoyan. A shot and a snipe. He scores. Oh, my goodness. What an answer right back with 80 seconds to go. A whole new hockey game yet again.
That is just way too easy for Titoyan, the senior out of Pasadena. He's the point leader with 14 on the Tritons, and now he extends his lead. 8 goals, 7 assists so far in his senior year, his last year as a Triton. And what a beautiful snipe there to tie up this game right after the Cougs were able to take the lead. So again, momentum swinging back and forth in this game.
And again, now 2-2, time running down here in period 2. And the Cougars that's one you can't really give up. Here's one thrown out in front, and there's Tartaglia right on the doorstep, and maybe a good stick play from Cool as well as Nico Umale in on defense. Tartaglia dancing through, now feeding one on net save, bouncing puck into the shoulder of Cool, who shrugs that one off. Umale trying to dance away from Coolander, and he does. Here comes Umale. Might have him lagging behind in Lucas Clark, but he just couldn't get it across the blue line, at least not legally, and has to dump it in. 43 seconds and ticking now. Mullen can't keep it alive in the zone. Stick lifted and brushed up by Tartaglia, but he's able to push it back through the neutral zone. Here's an onside play for the Tritons. In front, a shot. That one paddled aside easily from the shot from Sekaguchi. Dancing away from trouble is Fighter. Up the half wall, Sekaguchi, a good forecheck, keeping away from the Gooch, just outworking him, and then tried to float one through, unable to get it away. Robinson, just a gnarly forecheck here from the Tritons with just dying time. 12 seconds left here in the second period, and cannot get it out still. My goodness, Fighter left it. Sekaguchi a shot, and that one goes wide. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, and 1, and that will do it for period 2. And wow, speechless for how that one ended. The Tritons really putting it to the Cougs right now. And although it's tied, that has to be some sort of win for really the Tritons.
Absolutely. I mean, I know that the Cougs were able to get their first goals of the game in that period, but I got to say, Zach, it was a lot more of the same of what we saw in period number 1. Cougs struggling to pass, struggling to break into the zone. They were able to break the ice. They were able to get on the board thanks to goals from Brandon Smith and Max Lazaro. But nonetheless, the Cougs just kind of, the story remains the same for them. They can't get past this Tritons defense. And right there in the last few stages of that second period, I think Nico Umale's performance kind of really sums things up there for the Cougs. Nico Umale, the freshman, subs onto the ice, has the puck, has a breakaway opportunity, overskates his own handle and leaves it behind him. You forgot something right behind you. Then back on defense, he had an opportunity where they could have broken it out. He had a man who was trying to feed it, and he just stood there like a statue. Again, not to dog on Nico Umale, but that kind of sums it up. The play from the Cougars, not their best game by any means. And to be honest with you, Zach, this is the beautiful thing about the ACHA. The Tritons are dead last in the conference. By all means, they are abysmal so far this season. 4-13 on the year. But tonight, they can play and compete with any team in the ACHA, whether that's a 4th place team, 5th place team, 6th place team. I mean, with the way they're playing tonight, I would say they could probably compete with Western if they played this brand of hockey as well. Again, that's the beauty of the ACHA. Any team on any day can beat anyone in that conference. We see that all the time in men's Division II for club hockey. So if the Tritons can keep doing that for the last 20 minutes of this game, I would not be shocked if the Cougs get upset in California.
And David Bushkin said exactly that after the Utah Valley game Thursday night of last week. He said, in the ACHA, we can beat any ACHA my goodness, beg your pardon, any ACHA team on any given day, and let's make sure we have that day, and they're not having that right now, but you know who is? The Tritons, and I'm sure they're ecstatic about it. They are closing in on a possible win against the team in 4th in the conference, who's going to have essentially a home game. They're going to be hosting a home game. Of course, it's all played in the same place in Cheney, Washington. But nonetheless, the Cougars have not been able to say they have had the home advantage at all in the playoffs in recent years, and now you have an opportunity to possibly blow it against the Tritons with 13:48 still to go until the second intermission. And we are in California, Southern California, where it was sunny and 60. My favorite part is not having to wear a jacket when I walk outside. That is pretty awesome. And we have been enjoying our time here in the sun. I am Zach McFarlane, joined by Smith Slye. You're watching KUGR. Please subscribe if you love what you're seeing, and we'll be back with you shortly in about 13:24 for the period of 3.
Martzoff fired it in off the skate there of Robinson, who angles it off the glass and out. And now an opportunity for the man, the myth. Cole calls it all alone. Score! A shorthanded goal. He is now pointed 3 of 3. Amazing forecheck, but now Matthew Taylor sends it. Carlson lets the howitzer go. He scores! What a snipe.
Shot. Beautiful.
What a snipe. Cole Carlson on the power play, and the Cougars have cut the lead in half.
As he's got 2 Cougs pinning him against the boards. And here comes a feed pass for Cole Carlson with a head of steam. Can he get a shorty? Backhand, dangle, shot, he scores! A shorthanded goal. Cole Carlson, the team captain, puts the team on his back and cuts the lead to only 1.
We'll try our best as here's an opportunity. David Bushkin getting around. Moving on in and a shot. He scores! David Bushkin!
He's got David Bushkin, the freshman, stops the Sharks, puts the on goal. He scores! David Bushkin, the freshman, 8 goals so far this year. It just continues.
Gets it back. The Eagles under major pressure. Bushkin toward the net. He sails it! Washington State takes a 5-3 lead with 13 seconds to go and a dagger.
And here the Cougs come once again. Van Rainer pushing it up. The tall forward shoots, scores! What a wrist shot right there from Van Rainer as he gets a hattie. My, oh my, what a shot right there. It's a 5-0 hockey game as Van Rainer doing a good job fighting, able to stick it clear and keep the possession for the Cougs. Here comes Van Rainer again, makes a move. Rainer drives it towards the net. Claudier, top right, bang! My, oh my! Van Rainer has 5. As they're breaking in once again, that's Nico. He might be looking for the hat. He tries to send it out in front of Kinsfield. Nothing found, but Van by himself, and he scores! What is happening? Lazaro looking to get something going. Makes number 20 of the Vandals miss. Sends it out front to Van Rainer. One time and that's Lazaro shoots and scores! My oh my!
Out of the hands there of Ryder. Carlson was crushed by Ryder. Lazaro, score! What a snipe! That goes top glove. There was a penalty called on the play.
And that one straight away ahead for Carlson. Carlson dropping it off Lazaro. A little crisscross. Lazaro shot. He scores! Max Lazaro, top shelf yet again.
Martzoff fired it in off the skate there of Robinson, who angles it off the glass and out. And now an opportunity for the man, the myth, Cole Carlson, all alone. Score! A shorthanded goal. He is now pointed 3 of 3. Amazing forecheck, but now Matthew Taylor sends it. Carlson lets the howitzer go. He scores! What a snipe.
Shot. Beautiful.
What a snipe. Cole Carlson on the power play, and the Cougars have cut the lead in half.
As he's got two Cougs pinning him against the boards. And here comes a feed pass for Cole Carlson with a head of steam. Can he get a shorty? Backhand dangle shot. He scores! A shorthanded goal. Cole Carlson, the team captain, puts the team on his back and cuts the lead to only one.
We'll try our best as here's an opportunity. David Bushkin getting around. Moving on in and a shot. He scores! David Bushkin!
He's got David Bushkin, the freshman, stops the Sharks, puts the on goal. He scores! David Bushkin, the freshman, 8 goals so far this year. It just continues.
Gets it back. The Eagles under major pressure. Bushkin toward the net. He sails it! Washington State takes a 5-3 lead with 13 seconds to go and a dagger.
And here the Cougs come once again. Van Rainer pushing it up. The tall forward shoots, scores! What a wrist shot right there from Van Rainer as he gets a hattie. My oh my, what a shot right there. It's a 5-0 hockey game as Van Rainer doing a good job fighting, able to stick it clear and keep the possession for the Cougs. Here comes Van Rainer again, makes a move. Rainer drives it towards the net. Agafladier, top right, bang! My oh my, Van Rainer has 5. As they're breaking in once again, that's Nico. He might be looking for the hat. He tries to send it out in front of Kinskill, nothing found, but Van by himself, and he scores! What is happening? Lazaro looking to get something going. Makes number 20 of the Vandals miss. Sends it out front to Van Rainer. One time and that's Lazaro shoots and scores! My oh my!
Out of the hands there of Ryder. Carlson was crushed by Ryder. Lazaro, score! What a snipe! That goes top glove. There was a penalty called on the play.
And that one straight away ahead for Carlson.
This is a KUGR sports production,
Good pass down low to Airstrip, and he scores off the glass.
giving you play-by-play coverage of all your favorite WSU athletics.
He doesn't get it! He stuffs at the line!
Football, basketball, baseball, hockey, and more.
Absolutely electrifying play from Washington State to get him right back in this game.
Follow us on YouTube at KUGR Sports to listen to every game live.
Oh my goodness, are you kidding me?
Never miss a moment with the best in the West. KUGR, the student voice of the Palouse.
Gets the Cougs on the board with less than 20 seconds remaining in this first period. Here come the Cougs.
And now, back to the game.
You're listening to Cougar Hockey on KUGR.
Brandon Smith, the senior out of Mill Creek, Washington, continues his hot streak as he got on the board to kick off the second period for the Cougs to break the ice, tied up the game 1-1. And then, of course, he was followed up by the sophomore Max Lazaro, who got his 11th goal on the year to make it a 2-1 game. But then again, the Tritons got right back into the fray and tied the game up 2-2 after a goal from Alex Tatoan, who continues to be the point leader for the Tritons. Got his 8th goal of the season, 8 goals, 7 assists, 15 points total for the senior out of Pasadena. And at the moment, momentum has been swinging back and forth like a hammock for both these teams in this Pac-8 matchup, the first matchup of this weekend series. And right now, it's looking like the Tritons may be able to punch the Cougs in the mouth a little bit and possibly upset them on day one in California. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Smith Slye, joined by Zach McFarlane in the broadcast booth. Zach, as we are moving into the last 20 minutes of play in this Pac matchup, what can the Cougs do to maybe build on those 2 goals they got from Brandon Smith and Max Lazaro?
Well, as we talked about before, the ACHA and especially the Pac-8, there's just a lot of volatility where you don't really know what's going to happen, and anything can change on a dime. And that's exactly what happened at the end of that second period, just when the Cougars finally broke through and got their first lead of the game. It's like, okay, maybe they're in the driver's seat now. Nope. There's Tatoyan to tie the game. He snipes one right over Alexi Cool not even a minute later as they look to come back onto the ice. And I think really for the Cougars, it's just confidence. You know that you are the better team, and you just have to play like it. You just have to be confident in one another. You're going to know that Alexi Cool's probably going to bail you out on a couple. He's going to make some great saves. But you also have to be confident in passing. You have to be able to connect, and they just haven't been able to do that in the offensive zone very often. And yes, they have 2 goals, but so do the opponents here. And again, you just need to somehow find a way to win, even if it is very, very ugly.
And our sideline reporter, Connor Simmons, was down on the ice and was able to talk with head coach John Lupinacci before the boys headed to the locker room. Connor, what did Coach Lupinacci have to say?
Thank you, Zach and Smith, joined with Coach Lupinacci once again at the end of that second period. You guys obviously won that period 2-1, giving up the late goal. Obviously don't want that. What were some of the differences you saw in that second period than we did in the first?
I think we took more chances to get the pucks to the net. We got to increase that. That's definite. We're holding it a little too long. We're looking for that, that perfect pass. They want to get beautiful goals, but, ice is choppy. The game is close. Both teams are playing hard. They just got to go for those grind them out goals. They don't have to be pretty. They just got to be in the net.
And we saw you guys start focusing more on the defensive end. There's a lot more clears and stuff like that. Was that a game plan you guys talked about in the locker room?
Yeah, tighten up the defensive end and just adjust to the condition of the ice and get pucks harder up the ice. So, yeah, definitely part of the game plan.
And now our last period in the third period, what are you telling the boys to get them through that last 20 minutes and get this win going?
Keep their heads. It's a mental game. They're getting down because there's a lot of opportunities that they're, right on the doorstep and not scoring. It's just like, hey, man, get those pucks in the net and let's pop in a few of them and call it a win for the night.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Coach.
Yep.
The ice here in California is definitely a bit of an issue. We were noting that before we came on to start this game, that the Zamboni was not doing the best job being able to clear the ice and making it as smooth as possible. It's looking like a little bit of a rough sidewalk out there, some rough concrete. Now the pucks are kind of bouncing around a little bit. But, of course, the Cougs really struggled again in that period with passing. We've been saying it a lot so far in this game that passing has been an issue. Definitely the ice is not helping with that, but it's a tale of two teams. You look over at the Tritons, they've been calm and steady. The metronome has been very on beat for them with their passes and their plays, but for the Cougs, it's been chaotic. They don't know where each other are on the ice. They open up the paperback and are just not on the same page. I mentioned that back in the second period, and it's what we've been seeing from the Cougs so far. This again, a tale of two teams. One that is easy, steady, in step with each other, and then another that is just chaotic and cannot get themselves together in this matchup.
Yeah, and the Cougars just need to find some sort of catalyst on this team that's going to cause them to boost their confidence, really, to try and change the landscape of this game, which has been just pure frustration. You have chances, you can't put them home, you're tied with a team that's dead last in your conference, and of course that's just going to build some frustration. But like Coach Shawnee Lupinacci said in the interview, you got to keep your heads. It's going to be a frustrating experience that you can't put pucks in the net at least too often, but again, it's all a mental challenge. You have to just go out here, play your game like you know how, and be able to just outperform the Tritons here and just come away with a win, at least in night one, and then clear your head a little bit for night two. Kind of forget about this one. But the ice definitely has been an impact. A lot of bouncing pucks, a lot of weird bounces, even off the boards. The stanchions have been pretty odd as well. Definitely a different sort of place that they have played in, and you got to wonder if the ice is just a little bit warmer here in Southern California.
Absolutely. If you're a head coach, Dylan Bezareth for the Tritons, this is a great game so far. Again, like we said, dead last in the conference, and you are putting up a great performance so far against the Cougs. But to quote Kobe Bryant, job's not finished. You got to play the remaining 20 minutes of this period. It's a tie game. You don't have the lead. If you were coming into the third with the lead, you'd be a little bit more confident. But it's a tie game, 2-2. And for the ACHA, this is a low-scoring game. Lupinacci says it a lot. You need to score 5 goals in the ACHA if you want to win. And Lex Ballard, David Bushkin, they say it a lot, first to 5 wins. And we'll see who gets to that quota in the last 20 minutes.
No kidding. And if you're the Tritons, if I'm the coach, I'm saying, hey, let's get fired up. Let's keep it going. Let's keep the pressure on the Cougars, because that is one of the weaknesses on this Cougar team is constant pressure and forechecking. They get flustered very easily. And so if the Tritons can somehow keep that on, they can seriously fluster these Cougars and cause them to make grave mistakes.
Period number 3 underway. The puck drops, and Sahovnin lost the draw to Fader, and here come the Tritons. Off the boards, it's Tatoan, the goal scorer tonight for the Tritons, was able to get the equalizer back in that second period. Brings it in behind the cage of Alexi Kuhl, got kind of shouldered into the boards by Sahovnin. Ballard attempts to push it out, but he can't, and it's onto the stick now of Samuli Sahovnin, who tries to fire it through the neutral zone. Puck just came to a rest there. Like we said, the ice condition is very weird. Usually that puck slides to the boards, but it just came to a very abrupt stop right there. There's a puck out in the slot, trying to slap it home. The Tritons can't get it through, and it's clear down ice, and the Cougars are going to have an opportunity to maybe catch them in transition. Here's Cole Carlson forcing a turnover with the stick. Got rocked there by Dukakis, the Boston native, but Cole Carlson no worse for wear. Has it pinned now in the boards on the near corner. So Hovinen comes to his aid, tries to fish it out, and he'll finally kick it onto the stick of Eric Collender. With the puck, the Cougs trying to get something out in front, attempting to put onto the stick of Cole Carlson. As Layden was drawn out of the crease, and now they'll have it pinned down. Carlson trying to play it. He gets shouldered into the boards. Cleaning up the Tritons, try and clear it out, and they are able to get it past the stick of Keegan Lucas. Will this be icing? Yes, it will, as it is not touched by the stick of Keegan Lucas, and they'll drag it all the way back into the Triton zone with 18 minutes and 38 seconds left in the final frame. A tie game, 2-2.
And Isaac Layton, a little Marc-Andre Fleury-esque there, coming way out of the crease, a little over-aggressive, even when he didn't need to, just trying to sprawl out and get a puck that really ended up right in behind the cage. A wraparound opportunity could have been there for Sahovinen. Couldn't quite corral the puck, and it careened away from him. But the Cougars starting off on the right foot, just hammering in on the offensive zone.
Van Rainer wins the draw. Tried to leave it for Lazaro, and he just can't quite. But Lazaro able to spin it back into the zone, just tiptoed that blue line and kept it on sides. Tracking it down is Vader. He tries to get away from Van Rainer, but he's pinned against the boards. Blue attire falls down to the ice. Still loose. Who will come up with it? Turnover after turnover behind the cage of Layden. And now Lazaro just spins down to the ice. Wasn't hit, almost just lost his edge in a way. And this puck is cleared down ice. Tristan Lee had his stick taken out from his hands and has to skate back to the bench. And now the Cougs are going to try and skate up, but it's turned over. And Sam Hembry lost it in his skates overskate his own handle. We've seen that quite a few times for the Cougs in this game. And David Bushkin just has to backhand it in. He'll hail a cab, get off for a change, and the Cougs are going to try and get some fresh bodies on the ice. Van Rainer almost turned it over, but now Brandon Smith, the goal scorer for the Cougs, is going to hand it off for Lucas Robinson, draws it back into his own quadrant, plays it past the logo, bounces onto the stick of Marley, who chips it onto the stick of Tartaglia, who got shouldered off it, and now it is Brandon Smith, the senior, whiffs on that pass opportunity. Marley centers it, but it's right onto the blade of Lucas Robinson. Turned over, a shot from Sekaguchi, glove down, leather save by Alexi Cool. He shuts the trapper over it, and we'll have a face-off in the Cougar zone. 17 and a half minutes in the final frame, 2-2.
Yeah, and these little mountains keep piling up, little mountains of snow here all over the ice, just causing the puck to bounce every which way possible. And then, of course, like we mentioned earlier, the stanchions on the board's not helping either, but the Cougars, again, they have to keep it out of their defensive zone. They have to be able to create chances and stop falling down on the ice. Of course, I know it is pretty different conditions. But they have to be able to keep their feet. That way they can get the edge on skating over the Tritons.
Reed Mullins spearheads this zone entry, and Evan King, who's fighting for it on the far wing, trickles onto the crease of Layton. He puts the glove over the top of it. We'll melt it down. We'll have a face-off in the Tritons quadrant. 17 minutes left in period number 3, 2-2. The Cougs looking to get the lead here early in the last frame.
And like you talked about, speed is a wonderful thing if you can keep the puck on your stick. The Cougars have a couple guys on this team that struggle with that. They have a lot of speed. They carry it into the zone, and then they lose the puck maybe right at the blue line or before they leave the puck behind, and that is the most important object in this sport. You have to be able to carry that. And again, you see another save there by Ladd.
Now, Sahovinen, who pushed it out to the blue line for Ballard, he fires a shot right into the glove of Layton, who so far is having an absolutely uncharacteristically great game, shutting down the Cougs, sealing them off, putting them in the Tupperware, and putting them in the fridge. It's Brandon Smith, it's Samuli Sahovinen heading to the face-off circle, posed by number 40, kicks out to the blue line for Ballard. Another shot tipped just wide. Ballard got an assist so far in this game on the goal from Brandon Smith. He had a shot from the blue line that was tipped on and eventually scored. As they pass out to the slot for Jurgensen, he can't stuff it home. Tritons are going to push it down ice. Going back to play it, coming out of the crease, Alexi Cool tried to get onto the stick of Samuli Sahovinen, and he does. He'll gain the zone cleanly on the near side. He's got Jurgensen with him. Tries to shield the puck and turns it right over. Carlson fights for it and gets onto the stick of Micah Clark, who just barely tiptoed the line. Looked like it might have leaked into the neutral zone, but Lions official just says otherwise. The mask comes off of Layden. They have to blow this play dead. Not sure what happened there. Didn't look like there was a Coug in sight, but nonetheless, they'll have to blow this play dead as Layden lost the cage.
I mean, you almost wonder. I honestly didn't see it either. I was really watching the play more than anything, but you almost wonder if that was one of those where he caught a shot up high. It could have broken a strap of the mask, and later on, he kind of shakes it off his head to get a whistle and draw a stoppage of play in order to fix his helmet. I'm sure that's probably what happened because, like you said, there was no Cougar anywhere in sight, but he does get the whistle with 3:45 gone here in the third, I beg your pardon.
Rayner will square off with Fader. The Cougs win the draw. Sam Henry, a shot from the blue line. Pad save off the beanbags of Later. And now they'll scrum forward on the near wing. Shot on goal. No, Max Lazaro tried to put it on net, but just ran into the legs of a defender. And now the Cougs are going to have to fire it in back on net. Almost went into the net. Layden didn't have his head up, and it almost went past his legs and into the goal. With the puck now, it is Collender, who tries to break past the blue line, but he's shut off by the Cougs. Backhanded out in front for Lazaro, but never made it to his stick. Poke checked by Van Rainer, trying to keep this puck in. The Cougs, the forecheck, being absolutely relentless. But here come the Tritons. Fader fades it across onto the stick of Tristan Lee. He's got the puck in the corner, blows a tire, fell down, and collides with the boards. Tritons maintain their possession of it. We have here in the near corner. We lose sight of it for a moment. And here comes David Bushkin. Tries to pass it across. As it's tipped up and into the Tritons bench for a stoppage of play. We'll have a neutral zone faceoff with 15 minutes and 21 seconds left. Still deadlocked 2-2 here in California.
And what a scary moment for Isaac Layden and the Tritons, almost getting scored on there from center ice. Almost a Mike Smith moment there from Isaac Layden, who was just adjusting his pads and stuff. So you almost wonder if the gear is a bit of a problem right now. He seems uncomfortable in the pads. And he seemed a little uncomfortable in the net at times with seeing pucks. But, of course, nonetheless, he has been strong when he's been needed. And this game is still tied 2-2.
Let's see if the Cougs can't capitalize on that uncomfortability. Sakaguchi tried to feed a pass across. Sahovinen broke it up, and now it's Evan King. Plays it through the legs of a Triton, but right onto the stick of Marley. Out in front, loose puck. Who will come up with it? It'll be the Cougs. Lucas Robinson chips it off the boards into the neutral zone, into the foyer. And now it's onto the stick of number 7, Gerke. Onto the stick of Sakaguchi, and now for Marley. Tries to move in, but ran into the stick of Lucas Robinson. He falls down, trying to push it out in front. A trickling puck. Can they score? No, it's loose out in front. The referee does not blow the whistle. They call it a goal. It's 3-2 Tritons. A mad dash out in front. Chaos hockey, and they take the lead.
And that is quite a quintessential point of what you didn't want to happen. I mean, quite frankly, Robinson in front of the net falls down. I'm not sure if he got tripped, but he falls down, and that puck is left loose right at the top of the paint. They just jam away at it over and over again. Alexi Kuhl is down and out, sprawled out, just trying to keep track of the puck. They can finally put it home after a mad scramble, and the Cougars are really going to have to step it up as they're now down again with 14 minutes left.
Carlson tries a power move to stuff it past the post of Layden, and he can't quite get it done. As number 25 got absolutely clipped by Sahovinen. That was Collender who just got the brunt of that hit from Sahovinen. As it's cleared down ice, will it be icing? No, it will not. They wave it off. Brandon Smith shoulders the man into the boards. Picking it up is Samui Sahovinen. Plays it off the far boards to himself, and here he comes with the puck on his blade. Gets it onto Jurgensen's stick and has to leave it for Michael Clark. Up the gut. Moves into the near wing, has it taken away, and the Tritons doing a great job of forcing turnovers in their own half. 13 minutes and 49 seconds left in the final frame. It was Peter Dukakis who got the goal for the Tritons to make it 3-2 early on in this final frame. And here come the Tritons, number 13, Fader. Skates it past the blue line. He's harassed and harangued by Sahovinen and Ballard. Ballard has it in the corner. Attempts to get a pass, but it's off the skates of Tristan Lee out in front. Number 4 tries a spin move. Doesn't work. He's shut off by defensive bodies. And here comes Ballard, the freshman. Logo, blue line up the gut. Chips it in off the blocker of Later, with the puck now. Number 28, Tatoan, one of the goal scorers, point leaders for the Tritons. We lose it in the body of an official who refused to get out of the way, and now the Tritons have to draw it back for a beat. Here comes Tatoan. Past the Logo. Up the gut, the blue line, ran into some trouble, but now he fires a shot on net that hits off the glove of Alexi Kuhl, and now behind the cage. This puck is chipped up and into the netting. They'll blow it dead. A grade A opportunity for the Tritons, but a grade A stop from Alexi Kuhl, the sophomore from Vancouver.
The Tritons have just been an extremely tenacious team tonight. They have been just firing on all cylinders, absolutely relentless. But one positive for the Cougars, although they're losing right now, they have kept themselves out of the box the entire night. Knock on wood that they keep that going.
Here comes Bushkin, head of steam, tries to put a power move on, a shot that hit off the shoulder of Layden, off the post. It comes off its moorings. They'll have to blow this play dead as Layden definitely had his heartbeat going there. As you have the freshman phenom David Bushkin coming at you with a head of steam.
Yeah, that was a scary opportunity, and now you have the netminder Layden just taking his helmet off, skating around a little bit. You got to wonder if there's something wrong with his gear. He keeps kind of taking his helmet off, taking a look at it, maybe looking over at the equipment manager, might need another one. He's fixing a strap, and I believe that shot did come up high on him. And you do not want to face a shot up high from David Bushkin, of all people, coming up the right wing. This should be interesting. I'm not sure. Looks like he's got his gear all squared away. And we will have a draw to his left.
David Bushkin, a menacing presence on the ice, 6 feet tall, 185 pounds. When he gets moving, he's a bit of a freight train. Keegan Lucas immediately off the draw, fires it on net, off the glove of Layden. He couldn't hold on to it, and now the Tritons are going to try and fight for it behind their own cage. Centering pass to the slot. No one was there except for the Tritons. And it's kept in by Sam Henry, who was able to fire it in deeper. Trying to chase it down is David Bushkin. But here come the Tritons. Collender off the boards from number 40. Here he comes with a quick break. He's got number 2 with him. Head across. A pass that's chipped just wide of the net. Alexi Kuhl gets lucky on that opportunity. And here come the Cougs. In transition, David Bushkin has it poke checked right onto the stick of Max Lazaro, who has it stripped away from him and cleared down ice. The Cougs denied. Stood up at the blue line, and they'll have to reset and get a change.
And uncharacteristic from David Bushkin, just not aware of his surroundings, head completely down, and just got it taken away. Stolen right from him. You got to have your head up here in this league.
This puck picked up by the Cougs. Sam Henry, senior alternate captain. 6 assists so far this year, no goals. As the Tritons will just fire it back in onto the blockers of Alexi Kuhl. And now the Cougs. Evan King, the freshman. We've seen a lot of him tonight. Gets it onto the stick of Hank Hamill. He's been on a heater. Far side, tries to find someone to pass to, but he's kind of pushed away by the defense, and Evan King has to just backhand chip it further. 11 and a half minutes left in the final frames. This puck is cleared down ice. The Cougs again forced to hit the refresh button. Left now 4. Brandon Smith, a goal scorer tonight, the senior, out of Mill Creek, Washington. Backhands at center. No one was there except for the Tritons. Again, deja vu. We've seen that time and time again in this matchup. With the puck, Titoan, goal scorer, point leader, goal leader, moves past the logo onto the near side, gains the blue line cleanly. He's got Sekaguchi with him, but he ends up firing a shot that goes wide, and it's cleaned up now by Tristan Lee. Fires it in to the goal line for Fader, for Lee. What will he do? He'll end up having to just fire it into the near side, but no one was there. And Lucas Robinson attempts to clear it out, but it's onto the stick of Sekaguchi, who now gives it for Tristan Lee, and they turn it right over for Brendan Smith. Onto the stick of Evan King. Too much mustard on the pass. He can't handle it on the blade. Chipped off the boards and down ice. The Cougs unable to break into the zone again.
And, of course, there's a lot of factors that come with the disparity of this team, but you got to wonder what exactly it is that is just disrupting this team's confidence. It cannot be travel. They have been here, obviously, for much longer than 24 hours. You just have to wonder what is going on with these Cougars.
So Hovden forechecking. He trips up Collender as he was having to kind of pirouette back into his own zone. And like you said, Zach, you jinxed them. The announcer jinx is real. The Cougs have their first penalty of the night. The Tritons have their first man advantage. And let's see if they can make this a 4-2 hockey game with 10 minutes and 14 seconds left in the last frame of action of this Pack 8 matchup.
The announcer jinx is real, but I do blame all of you at home that did not knock on wood like I told you to. I said if you did it, they would keep that streak going. And, of course, you probably didn't, and here we are now on the penalty kill. The Cougars in a hole, and this does not help them in any way.
The Cougs have to dust off the penalty kill for the first time tonight. Off the draw, it's won by the Tritons. Gerke puts a shot on goal. That's just blocked aside by Alexi Kuhl, and it's sealed off by Gerke at the blue line. Trying to keep this attack alive, but it's poke-checked onto the stick of Lex Ballard. Gets a feed pass for Cole Carlson, looking for the shorty. He has to fight off 2 Tritons, and he can't do it. Loses it in their skates, and here comes Sekaguchi. He's tracked down by Jurgensen, along with Micah Clark on defense. They shoot. They score! What just happened? The Tritons, a power play goal. They make it 4-2 with 9 minutes and 46 seconds left in the third period.
And in every season you have tough losses, maybe some off games, anything really along those lines. But if you're the Cougars right now, you have to take a long look in the mirror. This is absolutely unacceptable. You're losing 4-2 now. You give up a power play goal maybe 30 seconds into the power play. It's easy pickings for the Tritons, and this is just getting out of hand. Really ridiculous here. Play from the Cougars.
The freshman, Sekaguchi, gets his 5th goal of the season on the power play. The penalty kill for the Cougs comes up empty as a stuff chance there is sealed off by Ladder. He puts the glove over the puts the glove over the top of it, melts it down, and we're going to have a face-off off to his right.
Cougars just need something to spark their team, some sort of great play from really any side of the ice, something.
17 versus 17. Emma Lahoulier opposed by Van Rayner. And the Cougs win the draw. They'll have it pinned now against the goal line on the far side. This puck cleared out by the Tritons down ice. Keegan Lucas will have to skate all the way down for the icing to have it drugged back into the Tritons end of the ice. 9 minutes and 19 seconds left in period number 3. A 4-2 Tritons lead in a game that the Cougs did not think they were going to be down in.
I didn't think they were going to be close with this one, and not to mention, I mean, being down and now 2 goals with 9:19 left in the third, you just got to get something going. You got to wonder at what point do you pull Lexicool. Of course, very, very still early. You have a lot of time here left in the period, but what is the plan here going forward? And you almost wonder if they even had a plan on if they were losing this series.
Again, 4-2, the Tritons leading this game. They got about 9 minutes left in the frame. The Cougs running out of time to claw their way back into this game as Van Rayner will make his way out onto the ice on the right wing. Sahovinen will square off with Fader. Lost in their feet, and now it's picked up by a bomb. He'll wrap around, feed it to no one in particular, chasing it down Samuli Zahovnin along with Cole Carlson, the captain. Gets tripped up there. He'll take a tumble. Will the arm raise? No. Will play on. And now the Tritons are going to try and clear it out. They will into the neutral zone, but it's chipped right back in by Sam Hembry. 9 minutes left on the clock in the third period. Tritons leading by 2 and looking to just put their foot on the gas. So Ovanen backhands it across for his teammate, Keegan Lucas, as Cole Carlson has it. Tries to feed it for Hovden. Broken up again by the defensive sticks of the Tritons. And here they come. Tristan Lee, all alone. Backhands it on net. Paddled away by Alexi Cool. He just spins it aside. And now the puck kept in by the Tritons. Onto the stick of Tristan Lee. Backhand wraparound feeds it. Doesn't work. And now Lucas Robinson to try and track it down. Leaks onto the stick of Luke Jurgensen. Plays it past the logo. And the Tritons have to touch up. They do quickly. They fire it in. They fire it into the Cougar zone. They'll go off for a change and get some fresh bodies. With the puck now. Cougars clear it down ice, but right onto the blade of the Tritons. They fire it right back in. The Cougs attempting to break out of their own zone, but they just can't quite get past the Tritons. In the Cougar zone, Jurgensen hip checks. Marley trying to strip him of the puck, and they finally do. Here come the Cougs. Brandon Smith, goal scorer tonight, the senior, gets absolutely laid into the boards, collided with the half wall there, and he's definitely a little shaken up there, but here they come. Sekaguchi, goal scorer tonight as well for the Tritons. Feeds it out in front, almost onto the stick of Tartaglia. He can't hold on to it, but the Cougs are going to have to reset here. Evan King kind of shoved Tartaglia into the boards. Cougs go back to play it off the boards for Evan King, the freshman. Plays it off the net and out of play. We'll have a face-off. Mental mistake there from Evan King. He's frustrated with himself, hangs his head a little bit as he skates back to the bench. Again, 4-2. The Tritons leading by 2 in the third period, and the Cougs getting caught sleeping time and time again in this game.
Story of the game, your head looking up at the lights out of just frustration, just monster size from how this team has performed tonight. And you just have to honestly give it up to the Tritons. They have played their butts off tonight. They have given every bit of effort on every single play, and they have earned every bit of what they have here going for them.
In the near corner of the Triton zone, kicks all the way out to the stick of Michael Clark. He'll pin it there as well, and then this puck is going to leak onto the stick of number 40 for the Tritons. He'll chip it in off the face of the official and into the zone. Definitely hit off the pearly whites. That's got to hurt, but he's no worse for wear. He stays out on the ice. Play will continue. Lex Ballard moves past the logo, tried to put on a move, and is denied again at the blue line. The Cougs just getting shut off at the doorstep every single time. Fired right onto the blade of Lex Ballard. Gives it for Van Rainer. He was stripped off it and cleared it back into the neutral zone again. Fired on net by Michael Clark. And it's left now for Titoan. Goal scorer, point leader, goal leader, assist leader as well. 6.5 minutes left in the frame. Cougs running out of time. Titoan plays it off the boards to himself. And he's able to get to this puck after it was misplayed by Lex Ballard. Titoan trying to shake off Ballard. He's got Tristan Lee with him. Bouncing puck, where is it? We lose sight of it for a moment in the near wing. It's our blind spot here in the broadcast booth, and it kicks onto the stick of David Bushkin. The freshman phenom gets a pass for Max Lazaro. What can he do? Tries to feed it across for David Bushkin. Wasn't there. Goes into the corner. Bad passing again. Lazaro tries to get for Van Rainer. A shot from Keegan Lucas is kicked away by Layton, and it goes in. They score. The Cougs. David Bushkin, his 16th of the year, is able to sneak it past Layton, and they cut the lead to only 1.
And with that, the freshman phenom moves to just within 1 of Cole Carlson for goal leading on this team. He's right in second place, right above Van Rainer, who's in third. And if there's a time to get a goal to get you within 1, right there is prime time. You've got just less than 6 minutes to get one more. Maybe you can get things rolling back in your favor, but the trajectory of this game is just not in the favor of the Cougs at the moment.
Wasn't sure if Layton was hurt on that play. He was down on the ice for quite a while. I'm not sure if he was hurt or just displeased with himself for allowing that goal to trickle past him. Definitely a bit of a muffin, you would say, as it makes it now 4-3. Triton's still leading by 1, but the Cougs really trying to get that momentum back in their favor to be able to just battle back into this game as that puck was nice, and we'll have a face-off off to the right of Layton.
Definitely a bit of a pizza there from David Bushkin. Somehow trickles it by the goaltender, but you know what? Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, and right there it definitely was.
Carlson with the puck on the far wing, gets it for Hoven out in front. Jurgensen trying to stuff it home. A mad dash as Layton puts the blocker over the top of it, melts it down. 5.5 minutes left in the third period. Tritons leading 4-3, but the Cougs not out of this game by any means.
Cougars just have to keep responding to their deficit here. They have to keep going. We cannot see that very sort of negative characteristic we've seen from the Cougars in the past, which is just giving up when you're down. You've seen a goal now. You're back in this game. It's obviously possible to score against this netminder. You just have to go in and get it done. You have to do it your way.
Keegan Lucas has this puck. We'll get it onto the stick of Cole Carlson. Tries to backhand it on, but he can't get it past the Tritons defense. Keegan Lucas gets it onto the stick of Luke Jurgensen. Now for Carlson. Bounces off his stick and picked up by Tartaglia. Tries to clear it out, but Jurgensen's there to seal off the blue line. Cole Carlson tries to come up with this puck, and now it's on the stick of Sam Hembry. He'll try and move out, but it's just unable to be kept at the blue line. There were 3 Cougs there who could have got the blade to him and just couldn't seal it off. They'll have to retreat and reset. With the puck, Sam Hembry brings it past the logo, far side, blue line, out the goal line, behind the net of Layton, where his option centers it, but it's picked up by Van Rayner, fires it on net, looking for the tip. No one was quite there. With the puck, Cole Carlson, wrap around, feeds it off the pillowcases of Layton, and now Cole Carlson with the puck. Near wing, backhands it out onto the stick of Keegan Lucas on defense. He'll shoot it through by. He's looking for the tip, can't quite get it to go. Cole Carlson was there, but couldn't tip it on. Tries a centering pass, but hits off the skate of Gerke. Keegan Lucas, another shot that just kind of tipped off the blocker of Layton. And now it's cleared out into the neutral zone, into the Cougar zone. The Tritons get a change. The Cougs get a change.
I like the change that they've kind of done here in the recent games with Sam Hembry quarterbacking more plays, kind of coming up the rush. He's really been more of a defensive defenseman in his time here at WSU, but they've used him a little bit more offensively, and I think that's a good look for him.
Max Lazaro tried to beat that pass, but now it's right onto the stick of number 28. That's Tatoan. Goal scorer tonight for the Tritons. Moves in alone. Pass unable to connect on it. A beautiful opportunity. Tatoan fed it across, but they just can't stuff it home. Now in the Cougar zone. They'll keep it pinned in the far wing. We lose sight of it for a moment. Again, you're listening to Cougar Hockey on KUGR, Cougar College Radio. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you want some more Cougar Hockey. David Bushkin will bring it in along with Max Lazaro. Gets onto his blade. A shot off the glove of Layton and swept aside. Out in front. It's pushed into the far corner. Past the blue line. The Cougs denied again with 3 minutes left in this matchup.
Cougars just need to cash in on one of those rebounds. They're getting pucks on net, but they just need to win the battle for the pucks at the top of the paint.
Max Lazaro stood up at the blue line, and here they come. Collender with the puck, fires it in onto the glove of Alexi Kuhl, who's able to see it and just close in on it and force the face-off in the Cougar zone. 2 minutes and 58 seconds left, basically 3 minutes left in the period. Cougs down by 1 and running out of time to tie up this game.
You're in your defensive zone, but I don't hate a timeout here from Coach Johnny Lupinacci. It doesn't look like he's going to take it. But you got to wonder, at some point, you're going to have to draw up some schemes, draw up some plays, do anything here to tie this game. Just be relentless.
Here come the Cougs with a head of steam. Brandon Smith has a goal tonight. His poke checked away, but cleaning up is Evan King, the freshman from Seattle. Pirouettes. What are his options? Gives it across from Micah Clark. Fires a shot on goal, looking for the tip. Not quite on nets. Tritons try and clear it out, but it's sealed off by Lex Ballard. He'll fire it in deeper. Cougs wearing their white cardigans. Tritons wearing their navy blue cardigans. They have it tied up now in the near wing. Life will resume eventually. And it finally does. Carlson puts on a move, but can't pick up his own puck. Hank Hamlet, the freshman. He's been very aggressive off the bench with a head of steam on a number of these plays. And he's doing it again right here. Hamlet with the puck. On his backhand, will shovel it out for Lex Ballard. Tried to hand it right back to Hank Hamlet, but he was skating off for a change. Miscommunication in Cali. The Cougs just don't know where each other are on the ice. Here comes Jurgensen back into the zone on his backhand. Tries to put a shot, a bit of a muffed shot. And now the Cougs are going to have to clean up. Ballard tries to backhand it out in front, but no one was there. 1 minute and 47 seconds left in the period. Cougs, again, running out of time to get themselves back in this game. And here's a jailbreak for Tristan Lee, all alone. Can he beat Alexi Kuhl? He shoots. It goes wide. He collides with Alexi Kuhl, goes into the net, and here come the Cougs in transition. Lex Ballard breaks it into the zone, is denied by Gerke, hits off the face mask of Jurgensen. They'll blow this play dead offsides as it was bouncing around here at the blue line. Jurgensen wore it off the dome to try and keep it in. And a timeout is taken here by the Cougs to try and get this game under control. 1:25 left. The Cougs need to tie up this game late.
And here comes possibly a scheme master class from Coach Lupinacci. You got to get it done here. You're sitting right outside the offensive zone. I don't think we'll see Cool leave the net just yet. You'll probably wait for possession, possibly just to dump in. I don't know at this point if you can really wait for any kind of true possession in the zone. Of course, you only have a little over a minute left. The Cougars, you have to believe they're probably going to be relentless here. You know they don't want to lose to this team as the clock has essentially not stopped here in the building. There's definitely a little bit over a minute to go, and this could come down to the wire. Let's see if the Cougars can get rid of the rumors that they can't make a comeback and get it done here.
Cougs have a little bit of time here to possibly tie up this matchup against a team that they did not think was going to be this close at this point of the game. They call a timeout to get things under control, and we'll be back here in a moment when they resume. They get back out on the ice. I'm Smith Slye, joined by Zach McFarlane in the broadcast booth in beautiful California. We'll be back in just a second. Cougs have 1:25 left on the clock in the third period. Sahoven will face off with Tartaglia. They'll push it into the zone immediately off the draw, but now it's fired back down ice. Sam Henry lost it in his skates, but picks it right back up again. Here he comes with the puck in his own zone. Makes a move and will fire it off onto the stick of Keegan Lucas, his D partner. Far wing leaves it for Jurgensen. Cool leaves the crease, and it's 6-on-5 now for the Cougs. Can they capitalize? Almost turned over. Sam Henry seals it off at the blue line, kicks onto the stick of Marley. He has it with a yawning cage. He fires it there. He just misses. Can't hit the bullseye. The Tritons almost made it a 5-3 game. Come up empty there. It's iced, and we'll have a face-off in the Cougar zone. Less than a minute left to play. The heart rate for the Cougs definitely spiking there.
And you know, if for some reason this game gets tied up and it ends up being a Triton loss, that yawning cage is going to be on his mind for quite some time. No way he gets any sleep tonight if this game doesn't end up in their favor.
Lazaro will face off with Tartaglia to the left of Layden. Less than a minute left to play and down by a goal. The Cougs, 6-on-5, still yawning cage. With the puck, Lazaro out in front, kicks onto the stick of a Coug. They'll slap it further, and chasing it down is Jurgensen. Backhands it onto the stick of Henry out in front to the slot, but Carlson can't get it on his blade. Bouncing puck picked up by Gerke. He'll try and play off the boards, but sealed off by Sam Henry. 37 seconds left to play. With the puck, Sam Henry feeds it out in front. A mad dash, diving on top of his lane. They don't play the puck. They don't blow this dead. And here comes Marley. Second time's the charm. Can he get to it? No, he's tracked down by Max Lazaro, able to take that puck away. 20 seconds left. The Cougs need a last push right here. Here comes team captain Cole Carlson with the puck. Gets shouldered by number 24, Dukakis, his number counterpart. 10 seconds left in the period. Can the Tritons survive? Sealed off by Sam Henry. A shot tipped off a body into the corner. Less than 10 seconds left. Passed down in front. Sealed off by the Tritons. With the puck now, it's Samui Sahoven. Tries to wrap it around. The last second will tick off the clock. The Cougs upset. They lose 4-3 to the Tritons in California. The weekend kicks off on a beautiful note for the boys in yellow and navy.
If you are the Cougars, again, I said it earlier, you've had losses, you've had tough ones before. This is where it begins to be completely unacceptable and absolutely ridiculous. The Cougars coming in here, playing sloppy, getting too big of heads for their own good, and they will now not officially reach any sort of 500 season, and you can see the frustration on the face of Alexi Kuhl, and I would be frustrated as well, to say the least. Alexi Kuhl again with no help tonight, and offensively just a blunder for the Cougars. And again, I just don't see any world where this is excusable.
After the 6-3 loss to Western, we talked with Lex Ballard. We talked with Hank Hamlet, and one of the things that they said they had to do going into California is they could not underestimate UC San Diego, and they also knew that these two games were must win for seeding heading into the playoffs. You need to sweep the dead last team in the Pac-8, and you're not able to do it at the very least. If you win tomorrow night, you split the series, but you come up short of the sweep on night one. You lose it by a 1-goal margin. You had an opportunity to battle back in that game, but the Cougs just unable to put up a fight in the last little stage of that game. And Alexi Cool, like you said, definitely disappointed after that game. His 21st game of the season, and the Cougs just can't help him out at all. They don't get very much production on offense to be able to get themselves back into this game. We say it a lot. First to 5 goals wins in the ACHA. Tonight it was 4. 4 goals for the Tritons in this matchup. They just edge out the Cougs in California for the first night. And that's a brutal loss for Coach Lupinacci in the first game against the dead last UC San Diego Tritons.
And what he's going to say in the interview in the post game, of course, will be, I'm sure, in the paper. But, of course, I am just curious to see what he has to say about this team. He is a very positive individual, but this is one of those games where there's really not a lot of positives to look at when you're looking at the opponent that you just lost to. And quite frankly, they look shocked in some of their faces that they even won this game, and they just look ecstatic, and they absolutely should be. They earned every bit of it, outworking the Cougs, out-hustling the Cougs. And to lose your first matchup here in California in front of the legendary Kane Paxton, of course, absolutely disappointing and disheartening. And hopefully for the Cougars, they can get back on track tomorrow night in less than 24 hours. And if you are still with us, good morning. The Cougars have a game this evening.
Despite being 4-13 overall in the year, 1-10 in conference, the Tritons make that 2-10 in conference in the first game of this series against the Washington State Cougars. They look like they despite being the dead last team in the Pac-8 playoffs, they look like one of the best teams in the Pac-8 by getting this win against the Cougs tonight, playing some phenomenal hockey on the ice, defense, offense, everything clicking on just 100% efficiency for the Tritons in California. But that'll do it for tonight's broadcast of Cougar Hockey on KUGR, Cougar College Radio. If you're liking what you're seeing, please subscribe to the channel and help us reach our goal of 500 subscribers to help support this channel. We are a student-run broadcast organization out of Washington State University. Every single subscriber helps us to be able to raise some money, to be able to cover more Cougar games everywhere that they travel. But we thank you all for joining us tonight. It is a late game for the Cougs. If you're able to stay up, like Zach mentioned, it's 12:12 a.m. on January 24th, 2026. A late night for the broadcast team here. But we thank you again. I'm Smith Slye, joined by Zach McFarlane and Caitlin Sherney on camera and Connor Simmons sideline reporting. We thank you so much, and good night.